Riley Hamilton.
And I'm Amy Scarlotta.
And this is Turtle Time! It's Turtle Time again, and Amy and I for sure are going to figure out that intro one of these days.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah, it's fun. We never know what we're doing each time.
We are coming in hot off of that reunion trailer. We are energized. We are fired up. We are going crazy.
Completely. I just walked in the room. Amy and I, it just came out 30 minutes before I walked in the room. Amy and I haven't even really said anything to each other except just grins and happy, and we're so happy and we're fired up. And so I was just going to start off just asking, because I didn't ask you right when I walked in the door, but how have you been since I saw you on last Friday?
Been good.
Okay, good. All right, everything's good?
Yeah, I've just been going to the movies, sitting around. Everything has turned for the better in the past 30 minutes since that trailer came out.
Okay, good. So it was,
mediocre.
Okay, so nothing was vibrant, nothing was fun. Friday was, I've been good. Yeah, for the most part, it's been good since Friday. I've had some fun. And then, but yeah, it is starting to peak with last night's episode of Vanderpump Rules. Summer House was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of Bravo quality.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been rewatching Southern Charm, watching it for the first time. Yeah. I'm on season 3. So I'm having a very good Bravo time in my life right now.
Yeah, you're like locked and loaded. You're busy.
Busy, locked and loaded. Life, non-Bravo life is good too. It's completely fine. But yeah, I'm in a good Bravo era right now. And then it really was capped off by this week's episode of Vanderpump Rules, and then seeing that beautiful, what was that called? Reunion trailer.
Yeah. I would say a highlight is definitely James calling Raquel and Tom poo-poo heads.
Yeah. I thought it was, out of place a little bit with the high quality insults that Ariana was leveling at them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was if that's what he said immediately after, or if it was edited. But when he called them poo-poo heads, was he saying that we can call them all the insults in the world? Like, we're throwing so many insults at them, I would even go so far as to call them a poo-poo head, do you think? Or what do you think was his intention?
I think, well, first of all, I think they left that in, the trailer specifically just for a little levity, a little letting us know that James was going to bring the funk, he always brings the laughs. He always has, a non sequitur.
Yes.
So that was good to see, because, otherwise it is, a very intense and dramatic piece of television, so it's nice to know that he will be making us laugh throughout.
But then he did a little sort of impish baby thing after he said poo-poo head, where he goes, ooh, am I gonna get a timeout, Andy? And I was like, okay, I gotta know, I guess, I gotta see this within context. It could be really funny. A moment of levity, you said.
Yeah.
But also, I'm I hope he wasn't legitimately calling them poo-poo heads. I hope there's some extra context there.
Yeah. Did you notice that Tom drinking squirt made it into the trailer?
Of course. I said the first thing I said, Megan and I in the house would go squirt alert anytime he's got a squirt. And I think we knew from the paparazzi photo that he was chugging squirts, but I didn't think he'd make it all the way.
Yeah, I didn't know that their conversation outside the trailer was going to be filmed.
Me neither, because we just saw it from
he didn't like either.
Oh no, he was so mad. He goes, get the goddamn cameras off me. He's been saying goddamn a lot.
Yeah, that and dumpling.
Yeah, he loves saying dumpling.
He loves rotation.
Yeah, he loves saying goddamn.
I love after. So it shows James and Tom seem to be the ones that get in the kerfuffle, and then Andy just looks down at the ground and he's like, my cards.
Yeah, what happened? Did Andy try to stop them from fighting, and then he dropped all his question cards?
Yeah, he probably had to shoot up to keep them apart.
Yeah.
That was funny to me though.
Yeah, so definitely those scenes, I already said this to you, but we gotta say it for the record, but definitely seems like James and Sandoval are the ones who get up and have an altercation that needs to be stopped. Yeah. It's not secretly Schwartz or something.
Right. No, I'm dying to see that. And then, what else?
I was just about that altercation. It was when Sandoval's like, if you get up in my face one more time, I'm gonna break you down, or whatever he says. And then James does sort of reminiscent of him with Schwartz. I'm gonna put you in a headlock. I'll get out of that so fast. He was like, I would knock you out, bro, or whatever he says. It's I love when James threatens to beat someone.
I know.
He's very sure of his fighting prowess, and I like.
But we've never seen him prove that, right?
I don't know. He did. I think sock Schwartz and Sandoval in the head when they had that fight at Mixology. I think
Okay.
Sandoval got a little like messed up. I think he had like a little bit of a black eye. So I don't know. Maybe James
Scrappy
does.
little Brit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he said he was bullied in the schoolyards back in
That's true.
London. Maybe he had to fight for his life out there.
Someone was reminding me the other day that bullies broke his leg.
Yes, it's awful. It's
What
awful.
the hell?
Season 6 or season, I don't know, somewhere late in the James era when he's being bullied by Katie. It might be season 7. He lets us all know he was like bullied constantly
So
as a kid.
sad.
He was called. They called him gay constantly. He said that one physical altercation got so bad his leg was broken. It's like awful.
It's really sad.
You know.
Yeah, we were talking about it because we'll get there, but at one point when Allie's telling him he should go to therapy, she's like, it's great, you can work on like childhood trauma, and he's like, I don't have any childhood trauma, and I'm like, both of your parents are completely batshit insane. Like, you were like physically like injured by bullies. Like, I can't think of someone that has more childhood trauma in this group than you.
Yeah, I was clocking it when he said that. When he was just like, yeah, I have nothing that I need to go to therapy for in my childhood. I was like, wait, are you sure? I mean, even the best childhood in the world, there's like something you could probably talk about. And it didn't seem like I don't know.
He's
seemed
one
like
of
there were some
I think
moments.
he's like one of the only people on the show that his parents are a like troubling storyline.
Yes.
Like everyone else kind of just has like supportive parents. Like Stassi kind of had stuff with her mom at one point. Like her mom's a little insane, but everyone else is kind of just like, my mom's in town, they're nice.
Yes.
But James is like, oh shit, his mom's here.
True. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and we saw another iconic mom this episode, Terry.
Yes.
Woo, Terry
In a
really
big
brought
way.
it.
She came wearing red.
Oh, that was awesome. The fire was the theme of last night's episode for sure.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Is there anything else? I mean, everyone is going to watch the trailer. Everyone has already probably watched it 5 times,
Yeah.
20 times by the time they listen to us talk about it. There were no like, I guess, surprising moments because we know all the questions that Andy is going to,
Right.
ask.
Right. Do you think we were talking about this last night. I feel like the reunion was filmed what feels like so
I
long
know.
ago now that
I
I'm
know.
like, shit has changed. Like, is it going to feel outdated?
A little bit, I think, because there are, well, I don't know. I mean, it's like, what have we learned since? I mean, one indication of that, of exactly what you just said, is that Katie Maloney on Watch What Happens Live last night said that she still was left with questions unanswered. Like,
Yeah.
she has new questions, and Andy was a little, I think, peeved at that because he wanted the reunion to be the definitive
Yeah.
statement on it. He was kind of surprised that Katie said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that does mean I think there's so much fighting in this reunion, all 3 parts, so much explosive anger that maybe Andy wasn't really able to get to the heart of a lot of
Right.
things.
And they're like, I'm sure that they weren't like fully willing to like be completely honest about what went down. Like,
Yeah.
I did like on Watch What Happens, Katie was saying that her theory was that Raquel and Sandoval had a thing and that she was pissed that he wouldn't leave Ariana, so she was kind of like playing mind games with him and was like, oh, well, if you won't leave your girlfriend, I'll like hook up with your best friend, which totally rang true to me.
Yeah, I really like that theory.
Yeah.
That was very interesting from Katie. It's like she's been thinking about this like for so long. She has all the answers and that she needs for her to come up with that hypothesis, and that sounded strong to
Yeah.
me. I really, really like that. That was a little bit of analysis about that Raquel and Ariana confrontation a little bit, right, in this week's episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is juicy.
Yeah, that was good. One thing I wanted to ask. So Andy teased it up twice, I think, in the reunion trailer, where he's asking Tom Sandoval, "Are you and Raquel in love?"
Yeah.
It's like cut.
That's the big tease.
Yeah, that's the question.
Right.
Which I guess is that the number one question we're all
I
asking?
don't really care about that.
Yeah, because even if they say they're in love, it doesn't matter. I mean, that would obviously be the get out of jail free card in their
Right.
minds for why this is all justifiable. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they're in love.
I'm less curious about the true answer to that question, but I am very curious about how he chooses to answer it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I want to know what he thinks is the right thing to say in that moment, or
Yeah.
what will make him look the best, or what will get him in the least trouble. That's what I want to see. I don't
Yeah.
really care, you know, what if he thinks he's in love with her or not, like whatever, but I am curious about if he'll like flub that scenario.
He is gonna flub. Whatever he says is gonna be so attacked, pounced upon. My prediction is he's gonna say we're not in love. I don't think he would say, because the pressure to say that statement and for him and Raquel to be on the same page and actually believe that about each other, I just don't think he's gonna go all in and say it's love. I think he's gonna say some like you said,
non-answer.
Non-answer that's not gonna justify it at all. But I don't think he'd admit
He's gonna say like, he'll be like, look, you know, a lot has happened, or like he's just gonna like blab about, you know, how hard it's been, or that she like brought excitement to his life that had been sad or whatever. But also I can see him just being like, yes,
we are in love. Yes, like I've never felt this way before. Do you think Sandoval has clearly stated enough times that he thinks Ariana finds him annoying? I'm hoping he can at least say it maybe 5 more times before the reunion happens, because he's not really hitting the nail on the head with that.
My very presence annoys you. And I love that every time he says it, they cue a montage of her thinking he's annoying.
Which is like, there are clear examples where anyone would have found him annoying.
Right, it's always when they're wasted and he's being a pest. It's never like just a normal scenario. It's him being annoying.
It's the Raquel. And then another one tonight, or last night's episode, him interrupting Terry, screaming, getting in a fight between Terry and Raquel, and Ariana goes, "Let Terry talk." It's like, Sandoval, is that the situation that you want to be with Ariana on your side? Do you want her to say, "Let's listen to Tom," while he interrupts this fight between Raquel and Terry?
Yeah, yet again, he has no dog in this fight. Just let it go. Mind your business.
Please.
Move on.
Go to the bushes with Schwartz.
He was doing the full Homer Simpson in the back.
Amazing. I can't wait to get into it. Well, do you want to, maybe do we have anything else to say about the...
Not really. I just want to give a shout out to how dramatic the style they chose was, with like, it's like, and it was like the David Fincher like digital like error like.
Yes. I love it. Was like a blockbuster.
Flickering.
Yeah, it was like a blockbuster movie trailer. It was like aliens have come to Earth.
Yeah.
Boom. They have kidnapped the president. Boom.
The event that changed everything.
It's so good.
It was like in a world.
Yeah, in a world. Totally. Yes. It was the most
it's
dynamic.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. It was.
It's
so
like,
good.
but like. That's how I feel about it. So it reads correct, and then you step back for a second, and you're like, "This is so silly."
Yes. Yeah. Like, what are we really watching? Like, it's for us, and that's exactly how we feel about this, and that is the exact same treatment that this trailer should get. But if you really step back, you're like, if someone who's not a fan was watching it, they're like, "What the hell are you watching?"
I was literally running around the house in circles. I was like,
Me too. We should blast that music. We should play the finale. Where Amy and Riley have sat down to talk about the trailer. Boom. Anyway, that was
so good.
It's really one of those things. Like, you just have to watch it. It tees up so many questions. There's so many great moments. James does say poo-poo heads in it.
Yes.
But yeah, just watch it. We love it. I'm so amped. I couldn't be more amped, obviously.
No, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And next week is going to be awesome. They were showing the promos. I like wrote down at one point, there was a TV promo. There were a couple of them, but they were specific to next week, little like 15 to 30 second spots. And it's like also very dramatic. It said, September 2022, filming wrapped. Then came the unimaginable. So we turned the cameras back on.
It's amazing. That, like, I only saw that on TikTok. Someone was smart enough to rip that off the TV, but I don't think they've released that like on the internet. That was like
it was like
exclusive.
very specific to like confirm that next week is the new footage.
Yes.
Which is what we've been dying to see. That's the real shit right there. That's all we care about.
Yeah, that's what we care about. I can't believe we're in that era. That's actually happening next week. I want to tell you, because I didn't tell you beforehand, and I think it's okay to talk about this, but I want to, and I think you would want to be a part of it, but I think we should try to have a bar in Los Angeles host.
Yeah.
That we have to talk to this,
yes.
right? We get some bar that wants to have 1,000 of the most rabid VPR fans come to it. I don't think there'd be 1,000, but everyone in LA, I mean, we need to have an outlet where we can party and drink and,
right.
get wasted and watch this finale in Los Angeles. So we're hoping that can happen. I mean, I don't know who will ever host.
Have we confirmed that is there a Dodger game that night?
Unfortunately, there's an early,
okay,
like I think a 2 p.m. Dodger game. I might have to check on that, but yeah,
it should be over by then.
Yeah, Dodger fans leave. Vanderpump Rules
Reloading.
fans. Pilot. Dodger fans, get out.
Time's up.
Yeah, time's up. So
I will say I'm very much into this idea, but I will go insane if people aren't dead quiet.
I agree. I'm very divided. I'm very conflicted because I know that it is not the best place in the world to watch something you really want to pay attention to with a crowded bar environment.
We could always we're just honestly people, you're listening to us talk this through logistically for the first time. So if you're in LA, if you come, if we do it, you heard it here first. But what if we watch the 6 p.m. home, because I have DirecTV and you have access as well. We watch that intently.
Yes.
And then the 9 p.m. is what we watch with the bar. And like people, that might be for a lot of people the first time they're seeing it, but at least we are safe.
Yes, and we can be like, quiet down. This is a great moment. Yeah,
because remember when we watched the episode at Tom Tom, how awful it was? We couldn't hear shit.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything. 10 minutes of it were like just completely muffled. The sound was bad. That was not a great viewing experience. But yeah, so I think your strategy is good. But anyway,
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, if we don't end up doing this, I'm sorry to hype you all up, but this could actually happen, and
we'll post. I think we can just post online, and hopefully people could come.
And if you're not in Los Angeles, I mean, obviously we want you to fly out. We can't pay, for your travel. Maybe right.
You have 6 days to get here.
You have 6 days to get here, but also it's like make your city do it. Every bar in the world, there's no more anticipated piece of entertainment that's coming out that all bars should host it all around the country. And send us your videos of you partying at a bar if you're able to convince someone to do it.
Yes. So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
Yes.
I don't know, should we do the Summer House Minute?
Yeah, let me set my timer. I want to make sure, because a few people said that we went a minute and 30 seconds last week, so I'm just going to set my 60-second timer, and then let's get into our Summer House Minute. And for those of you who do not watch Summer House, a few people said, and this isn't the Summer House Minute, by the way, my timer hasn't started, but some people said, Riley, I don't watch Summer House. Riley and Amy, please add timestamps. And so we are starting to do that now. So this is going to have timestamps if you want to avoid the 60 seconds where we talk about Summer House. But yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so yeah, this week was exciting. I hope that you're still feeling the same way that you felt previously about...
Even more so.
Okay, great.
I loved it.
Oh my god, yeah. So honestly, it's like this scenario is so hard to articulate about because it's so complicated.
Yes.
And I feel so bad for Danielle, but also maybe she didn't handle it in the best way as far as, having sympathy from the public. Like she could have made her case better, I guess, but all that would mean was that she kind of just like swallowed her pride and was sad by herself instead of saying it out loud. But I like almost cried when she runs outside to Maya and she's crying and she's like, Maya.
Yeah.
I like seriously started crying.
Yeah. It was. So I am even more on Danielle's side of things now. I love this underrepresented point of view that she's bringing to Bravo. Not a lot of people have been in this situation. It's a very hard position to defend. For those of you who watch Summer House, but if you don't remember what we're talking about, Danielle has a very strong, visceral, negative reaction to Carl and Lindsay getting engaged. Her feelings about this are complicated, but for the most part, she feels very shut out of Carl and Lindsay's relationship. And no one has been a bigger supporter and defender, at least on the show, of Lindsay as Danielle.
Yeah, they were a trio who then became a duo, and she was exiled.
Completely. And a lot of people are saying, no, I personally feel, I'll take accountability for this. Lindsay sort of kicked Danielle to the curb once she was happy and once she had another person in her life.
Right.
Danielle just was like, goodbye, Danielle, I don't need you.
Like, I assume she met Carl through her, right?
Yes, yeah, because wasn't it's Carl who brought Danielle to the house, right? He had dated her previously. Yeah. She was his ex. He brought her, and then Danielle and Lindsay, I guess, formed a friendship, obviously.
No, it's like it cuts to the core of like middle school, not invited to the birthday party vibes, which is like, I feel like you can't like age past that, how to the core that feeling strikes.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just, Lindsay at no point actually heard and accepted Danielle's point of view.
No.
She just complained about her expressing it. Yeah.
Lindsay's a very black and white thinker, and she has one side of things that she adheres to, and if you stray outside of that, it's you are going to be in a fight with Lindsay or yell at that, in my opinion.
And I thought it was brilliant when Paige was like, she said that Carl basically like understands what she's saying, but he is terrified that Lindsay would be mad if he involved Danielle in the engagement. And I was like, that's real.
Yeah, totally. I loved the power and bravery of Danielle saying her true feelings about how sad she was when Kyle announced to everyone in that kitchenette or whatever their kitchen area that they had gotten engaged. Danielle just saying that in front of everyone, what did she say? Like, I forget what she called it. Did she say those two shitheads?
Assholes.
Yeah, those two assholes. Like, that was just so, she was so strong to voice her opinions. Even if you think that it was wrong of her, or she's jealous, or whatever people are saying, Danielle haters or whatever. That was a very hard thing for her to speak up and tell her feelings of how hurt she is. And I understand why she's hurt. I understand why she feels left out of this thing.
It was so awkward for everyone else because they're like, I don't really care. Like, I'll just be happy for them. It doesn't really affect me. And so, but they weren't allowed to be like, woohoo, because Danielle was like suicidal.
But don't you think, I don't get the sense that Maya, Paige, Sierra, and Amanda, if they were there, would have been screaming to the rooftops about this engagement.
But all the other noobs are like, yay, like, we're happy for you, because they don't know shit. They don't know what they're talking about.
It made me mad, which I'm always mad at new cast members.
Yeah.
I do not like new cast members.
Know your place.
Yes. It's like, you don't know what's going on. You're excited. You have no clue. You don't know Danielle's history with them. Yeah. And then it looks like in that scene that Danielle's the outlier. But really, if they had been all there, Sierra and Amanda and no newbies, it would have been a mixed bag. There wouldn't have been a huge celebration. That's like a flop
that they weren't there.
I know.
You know?
Megan and I were talking about this, and her theory was that Amanda just, because Kyle knew that this was happening that weekend, that Amanda didn't think her response would be like,
she tapped out.
She just said, I do not want to be there. I do not want to be there when they announced this, because I don't think I can fake like I am completely stoked on this. And I don't know what Sierra was doing either.
Yeah, because she got there shortly after, right? Like, she was like late.
Was she? She just wasn't there for the because she was in there later in the episode. I don't know. She just missed that weekend.
But yeah, whenever Sam is, Lindsay's go-to person now, I'm like, congrats, you got the 25-year-old new girl to be on your side. Like, do you even have real friends? Does she even you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Lindsay.
Yeah, people, the old friends showed up to that event or whatever, but I'm like, who are these people? Like, who are your friends?
Did you just to really get into it, but first, this will segue into this, but Paige, I loved Paige just saying straight in her confessional that Lindsay absolutely knew this proposal was going to happen. You believe that, right?
For sure. Look what she wore. Look how she acted. She's such a bad actor.
She did the classic hands over the mouth surprise face, which you only do. And then this is it's so bad to say for me because I'm such a new viewer to Summer House, but I was slightly embarrassed when Carl and Lindsay arrived for their big party, just knowing that Lindsay most likely knows this is happening. When Carl had no excuse for why she couldn't call her family, she's like, should I call my family on the way? He goes, oh no, service bad. No, it's bad service.
Just don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. They're all going to be here 20 minutes from now. I was like, I had embarrassment. And then Danielle was just muddying the waters with everyone going around to say how she
I just found out an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found out.
And she gets in
Crazy
a fight
that
with
you're
one of her
here.
friends.
I didn't know. When did she tell you?
Yeah, that was so great.
Yeah, so I saw a clip online. Someone posted Paige saying like she knew she was getting engaged. She wore shoulder pads, and then Lindsay commented on it. Was like funny because she's the one that helped me pick the dress out. And all the comments were like hating on Paige and Danielle. And then I saw another comment where Lindsay commented on the same video again and was like, funny that she has an opinion because she's wearing a top made out of like placemats or something like that. And I was like, why are you like running around the comments like hating on Paige? Like what she said wasn't even mean. Like it was funny.
And she said I would have done the same thing.
She says
perfectly.
Like she was like respect.
Yeah.
Like she was doing commentary. It wasn't hateful at all.
Well, yeah, yes.
So defensive. I fucking hate Lindsay. I'm saying it. I'm tired of bottling it up. I hate her.
Well, okay, so I have a question. I don't hate anyone. I'm definitely dismayed at this era of Carl and Lindsay. I feel like I should be feeling so much more, but I am such a whirlwind viewer. I just tapped into the Summer House universe, but as a newcomer who watched all this in a month, I'm wondering who the hell are these Rad House stans that are just like, why can't anybody be happy? This is a beautiful love, the most beautiful love I've ever seen. Like, who
it's
are
pathetic. I'm so sick of it. What's her name? The star of that show, the other two, was on Watch What Happens Live the other night.
Oh, and she said, Danielle, mind your business, get happy.
Yeah, she was like, they're happy, like, mind your business. I was like, what? Aren't you a person with brains? Can you not see that this is such an awkward, forced scenario? I just don't understand. People are insane. It's like, I don't know. That's why it's so upsetting to see like Danielle, you know, muddying the waters at the party. I was like, well, that's ruining everything for us trying to defend her. Like, that doesn't look good.
I still liked it, but yeah, that was one that was less defensible than her saying it at the kitchen. You know, like I was proud of her then, but then I was like, Danielle, no, don't tell everyone how you're thinking, because that's gonna get back to Lindsay.
And then we haven't talked about the breaking the fourth wall with the producer in her bathroom because she's having a mental breakdown about going to the engagement. And I think outside of a physical fight, I don't recall ever seeing a producer on Summer House.
Just the Luke moment, just the huge Luke blowout. That's the only time I think they've broken the fourth wall, because they don't really need to a lot, because so much of it is just like, you know, on their cameras in their bedroom or whatever. But yeah, that was like, it just, to me, that showed just how hurt Danielle actually is by this.
No, she was like losing it.
Yeah.
But so that was interesting.
She put all her eggs in the Lindsay basket.
Huge mistake. Huge mistake.
And I love that now that Danielle is sort of out of the Lindsay basket that had all of the eggs in it. I'm now, Paige and Amanda and Maya are so much more sympathetic to Danielle. She just seems, she's becoming more vibrant.
Wouldn't you rather hang out with that group of girls, like, anyways?
She was ride or die, and Lindsay threw her away like trash.
Yeah.
Rad House people, how do you feel about that? And even I didn't love Danielle in the beginning seasons because she was such a Lindsay, you know, ride or die. I felt like Lindsay was just bringing her on so she had someone to talk to, and Danielle wasn't, you know, showing her full personality. But as the seasons have gone on, I'm like, Danielle is legitimately fun.
Yeah.
She's a great presence in the house. She's been there since the beginning, and this is like the iconic Danielle season. I'm fully on Danielle's side.
Yeah, for sure. And then I loved how Robert represented her to Carl.
Oh. Yeah.
He said everything so clearly, calmly, but with emotion. You know, he was pissed for sure. But he made a great case that was totally understandable, and Carl like lost his mind.
Carl was like, rational thoughts, this person is speaking articulately and everything he's saying makes sense, I can't take this.
Right, because Danielle can't really talk about it rationally, so
No.
then they can just brush her off and be like, she's insane.
She screamed into a pillow when she heard how fast you guys were going.
Whereas Robert just said it very clearly, and then Carl starts to be like, well, I didn't tell any of the girls in the house, and Robert's like, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Love it.
That already is insulting, and you know why.
Yeah.
Like,
to lump her in with as just one of the girls. Robert killed it. Beautiful, powerful, succinct, every line cut like a dagger. He was so right, and I loved his defense of Danielle.
She should have married him right then and there. I'm so sad that they broke up because...
Do you know why they did? Just because I don't know.
I don't know. I think it, they were kind of implying that they had major issues all season. They're kind of long distance. Basically, he's working nonstop, so I assume it was just like the cracks of pressure from that. Like they were headed in that direction. But it just pisses me off because that Lindsay's like, well, like they're not even together anymore, so who cares?
Yeah. That's what Lindsay said.
Well, in my opinion, I can just imagine that she's like, well, like look who has the last laugh. We're getting married and you got dumped or whatever.
Totally. And it's like, it makes this defense like that Robert gave to Danielle mean nothing, even though it meant so much to me. I mean, I was trying to think like one of the best defenses of a significant other that I've ever seen on Bravo, for sure.
It was really good because it was, like I said, emotional. Like he really cared and felt like he really needed to say something. Like you could tell even when he got there to the house, he kind of gave them cold greetings.
Oh yeah.
Like he was like, I'm not gonna say this right now, but like I hate you guys. Like I'm pissed.
Lindsay just went straight into making that upside down pineapple cake. I was like, what the hell is she making? And she was
manic, like mid-century desserts. But yeah, he totally had her back, and like he knows Carl, like it wasn't out of place. Like
and I love what he said. He was like, I guess we just have to accept that we are not as close as we felt like we were to you guys, because they obviously were close. Like it was really, really well said, and
no, it was
perfect.
great. And then Carl just goes completely batshit, like mic off, like bravo, like cameras down.
Again, another
like,
fourth wall break in the same episode. But like, do you think is that just like Carl's like, I want an explosive moment because I'm so mad and I want this environment to like reflect how mad I am, or does he just not know how to combat logical thought that he did the wrong thing?
I think he was totally overwhelmed. He's between a rock and a hard place. He's terrified of Lindsay, so he... Wait,
Lindsay's the hard place or the rock?
The hard place. In a perfect world, he would totally, in all of his Danielle conversations for the most part, he really does listen to her, and if Lindsay wasn't so difficult, it would be solved. He would understand the situation and he would meet in the middle, but he can't, like his brain, he's like controlled by her, and so he's freaking out because he's like, I actually can't empathize with these people because she will be so pissed.
You're right. And Lindsay, I think almost gave him a clear, whatever that's called, like strict line about how he should view Danielle. She said something like, you do never need to apologize, or you should never apologize to her for what you did. And then when she comes back after the Robert talk, and she tells him, she's like, I told you we never need to apologize for this. It's like she gave him a rule for how he needs to think about this Danielle situation.
Right. It's like when they get in that fight, like at bedtime, when he's like, well, I understood what she was saying, and I think the conversation went well. And she's like, it went well for you. And it's like, well, there's 3 of you, and 2 of you talked about it, so you're left. You're next.
And then this is the same episode. I hope I'm not getting you confused. This is the same episode where did they leave to go to Southampton Social, or was that last week's episode? Did they leave the whole group of people? And Maya's like, they left. Was that? Because that's when they go to I thought that's when they go to party after their engagement party, and they leave. No, I don't know. No, that couldn't have been. I think that's 2 episodes.
Well, last night was, or not last night, but
Monday
night was like kind of a cliffhanger, right? Like it ends
he
with him flipping off the cameras. It's like beep, beep.
Yeah, that was wild.
And Kyle's like, what the hell? I mean, to play devil's advocate, I don't want to, but I can imagine getting pissed off and overwhelmed at the idea of having to have that conversation at your engagement party. Like, I get being like, it's like someone like bringing beef up to you at your wedding or something, and you're like, bitch, I'm at my wedding. Can this fucking wait?
Yes, but that was the bar after their engagement party. Because their engagement party was at Dockers.
Okay.
That's where all the family was. And then I can't remember the timeline because it was so action packed. But I think that was at a bar.
Oh, I didn't realize there was a second location, but still.
No, maybe you're right. Was that at Dockers? You know, Carl wasn't freaking out at Dockers with all the family members screaming.
I don't know. I don't remember them changing locations, but I could be
Okay,
wrong.
no. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
But still, it's the day of your engagement.
Yes.
So even if they went to a second location, it's technically still your engagement party,
Yes.
like night.
Yes.
So I can understand being like, how dare you bring this up right now, even though that's what it's about.
Yeah.
But also, you're on a show, so get over it. But yeah, I was fired up.
Me too.
And I am not looking forward to their wedding. I can't wait for the reunion to see how this shakes out. I am afraid though that Andy's like team Carlito Hublito.
He's a Hublito stan. How do you know? How could he be?
I mean, when Lindsay was on Watch What Happens Live, he has said this multiple times where he goes, you know, you guys were friends for 7 years. That's the bedrock of your relationship. So he said that. I'm reading his book right now, or listening to it rather.
Daddy Diaries?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I can't wait. We're getting a signed copy.
Yes,
you know,
we're going next week.
Yeah.
It's next week, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I started listening to it, and he makes a Carl and Lindsay reference in it because, you know, it's basically day to day of his life. He says like what he's up to, the same as his other books. But so it'll be like, I'm having Carl and Lindsay on Watch What Happens Live tonight, and he's like, they're the first couple of Bravo right now that everybody's rooting for. I was like, bitch, shut up. Like, I'm just afraid that he's gonna be so in the bag for them at the reunion that it's gonna be unfair moderation.
Wow. But so like, are we like the cynical minority in this whole thing?
I mean, every time I go online, it's like deeply pro them.
Pro Rad House. I'm like,
But we've gotten some comments from little turtles that agree with us, and I feel very validated when they say that.
me too. And yeah, and I posted a recap or thoughts, on TikTok, and I had 90% like anti-Danielle slander. And I was just like, wow, I've never been so off from the Bravo fandom where I feel like, whoa, why do I think so differently than everyone else?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I already was like grossed out by their relationship.
Yeah.
So the fact that Danielle's whole storyline, despite being big supporters of both of them, that she, the closest person to them, thinks it's weird, I feel validated by that.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly. And Kyle feels weird. He's not as vocal about
Right.
it, but he's not fully supportive. He keeps talking about that time he cried when he heard the news, and I'm wondering, was he crying from pure joy, or was he a little
No, I
upset?
would love to get the real tea from Kyle, because he also understands that Carl has changed, basically not for the better, despite, living a healthier lifestyle. Again, I'm happy for Carl not to drink.
Yes.
That's not what I'm talking
It goes
about.
without saying. We're
Right.
happy for Carl.
Right. But I'm like, Kyle and Danielle are like his closest friends, and they both think something is rotten. So what the hell?
So who are we to disagree with them?
Like, Kyle essentially always minds his own business.
Yeah.
Like, he like stands up for his wife. He's usually the one under attack. He's not usually going after people or their relationships. Like, he doesn't really care.
No.
Like, he's like, whatever. But this specifically irks him a little bit,
I know.
and he kind of has to give up on it because he works with Carl and they already have drama. Like, he's not trying to get into it, but you can tell, even when he's trying to be heartfelt, you can tell he doesn't mean it 100%.
Exactly. I mean, the house, you can tell. They're not, like we said, they're not as vocal as Danielle. No one's going out on a limb like Danielle, but it is not a full positive. The Bravo community's, thoughts on this relationship should be just like within the Summer House, which is mixed.
Right.
At the very least.
Totally.
Almost veering towards negative.
Totally. I mean, like I said, when Kyle and Amanda got engaged on that boat, I was crying.
Oh, yeah.
I was so happy for them,
Beautiful.
despite the fact that he cheated on her and they've had so many trials and tribulations. Like, you can still tell that
You can feel
it's all worth it. I'm like,
that love burns through the television. I know they are in love. I see it every minute they are looking at each other, that they're in love.
yeah, and again, Carl and Lindsay, all they do is talk about it. All they do is
How handsome, how beautiful, I love you, babe.
nasty PDA, like fish lip kisses, like
Jumping up on his, what's that called when somebody hugs you where they jump up on your chest, like
just
give you a
annoying.
big leg bear hug. Did you see the huge Paige and Amanda press runs that they're on? Summer House press runs. Amanda is on the cover of Glamour, got interviewed for Glamour magazine. I don't know if she's on the cover, but she got a full interview.
If she's on the cover, I will
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah, probably not the cover, but in an interview, and it's the most, I think it was the most normal girl on Bravo.
I saw that.
And then Paige was in the New York Times.
I love it.
Yeah,
They deserve it.
Summer House era is right now. Like, I'm so glad that I caught up to be at this moment. Like, this is for me.
Yeah.
It's this is an iconic era of Summer House. Yeah, I'm so glad.
And I've had issues with Paige in the past, but I'm like obsessed with just. This sounds so stupid, but I'm like, she tells it like it is. Like she, she's snarky, but not mean.
No.
And everything she says, she will or would say it to the person's face, like without issue. And yeah, like she's not mean. She's just honest. And so whenever she's talking to people about her opinion, it feels so gratifying because she makes good points. She would say it to their face. It's very clear and like a good point of view. And, all of the people she's friends with at the house are like basically rational people. So it's like when they're like talking about something, it doesn't feel all like nasty. It feels just like, I don't know, like normal.
Yeah, I agree with Paige 95% of the time. I think she's like obviously very smart and very funny, probably the funniest Summer House cast member. What were the times when you disagreed with Paige?
I mean, I feel like her Hannah era, there was and then like the stuff of when she would always be like, Amanda, are you sure you want to marry Kyle? And it's like, okay, mind your business.
Yeah, you're right. Those are the two moments I sort of forgot because I've been loving Paige for so long. But yeah, her Hannah defense, especially at that reunion when she was the only one on Hannah's side, that was a little strange. And then she did really dig deep into Amanda and Kyle's relationship. But for the most part, Paige is such a great presence on the show.
I love that she was giving Craig shit for when he was rage driving, and she was like, do you want to yell at that guy too? Like, are you done?
Yeah,
like,
that was great.
I love that, I'll be so happy if she dumps Craig, but that's just me.
Yeah, I now have more of an affinity for Craig. We're not going to do the Southern Charm Minute yet.
Yeah.
Only because we didn't talk about it, and I don't think we should delve deeper into another show, but I have more of an affinity for Craig after seeing him the first 2 seasons. He might turn into a monster at some point, but right now, like, I liked seeing his humble origin. So it made me more sympathetic to him, but maybe I'm going to have an era where I, hate Craig. I don't know if that comes.
Yeah, I'm ready for you to see him in his post-Naomi era.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it looks like the timer. Well, do you have anything else to say about Summer House?
No.
Okay, well, it's perfect timing because I think my 60-second timer, just went off. Okay? Well,
Perfect.
Good. That was the Summer House Minute. Was there anything we wanted to talk about before the recap?
Well, I'll just combine 2 things of Andy. I'm reading his book, and then we were just talking about Craig. I just want to mention earlier this morning I saw that Andy was getting on a train to DC to do a book event, and he got on the train and Craig was on the train. So today they were just sitting together on a train Craig was going to Delaware, and they were just eating cheese plates together, and I'm like, I'm a little annoyed that Craig gets that bonding time with Daddy Andy.
I know, imagine. He's like getting, Andy, he gets very special time with Andy right then on that train ride. I wonder if that's the train that Biden takes back in the day, because he would always go from DC to Delaware. He must be on that train all the time, or he used to be.
Love that. But yeah, I thought that was really funny because I'm like in the thick of listening to his book right now, and so I bet if he writes another book, that him riding the train with Craig will be in that book.
That would be so fun. Train Diaries. So you're loving the book. I mean, you should endorse it if you're reading it. Is it good?
No, it's great. It's, you know, the same format as his other books where, you know, it's like a daily diary. So it's like month by month, like April 2022. And then it's just like, started out the day, like Ben had a fit and I had to go do a radio show. And that, like, it's like truly, he's just like the busiest man on earth. And now in this book, he has 2 kids. So he's dealing with the kids, but also, you know, working like 5 jobs. And then he has like an insane social life, and his friends come over for nightcaps at midnight all the time. And he's a man about town, but still sees his kids all the time. And, you know, he has such a fun life. He's the king of the West Village.
So a little sneak peek into Andy's life.
Yeah.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah, and he's renovating, he's building a new house in the Hamptons at this time.
Wow.
And he's also renovating, I think he like keeps buying up apartments on his floor in New York. Like,
no way.
He I think he said he bought a studio to then add the new baby's room. So he's always doing construction. He talks about his ice maker a lot, which I love that he has such specific opinions about the kind of ice he uses, because I feel that way too.
What does he use, like crushed ice?
He doesn't say exactly, but he said that he has an ice machine that his neighbor hates because it's really loud. And so he was replacing it. He was putting the old machine in a new area and getting a new machine for the new bar. And he was like, but I hate the cubes on the new machine. And I'm like, tell me more.
If we ever interview Andy Cohen, which, you know, is entirely possible, let's remember to ask him what his preference for ice is.
I will, because it comes up like 10 times. He
That's
talks
awesome.
about the ice maker like 10 times. And I'm like, that's the kind of shit I care about. Like, our friend Lindsay, that sometimes you stay at her house, she has a pebble ice maker, which actually she hasn't set up in her new house. We should get on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I like using it.
Yeah, okay. And pebble ice is like the little rock ice, right?
Yeah.
But mushy, is it a little bit mushy ice?
Well, that's best case scenario. Crushed ice, I like when, you know, you go to like you know, like a charbroil restaurant or whatever, they always have like crushed ice, and it's like, it looks almost like a snow cone at the bottom, you know, like your Coke like absorbs into the crushed ice. But yeah, the pebble ice is like halfway there, and then, you know, there's like boring regular ice, and worst of all at my house, just ice trays.
Oh, I have ice trays too. I never think about what my preference for ice is, but if I had to choose one, I think crushed is kind of fun.
I do love that. It's very satisfying, and then it kind of turns your drink. I feel like it melts. I don't know, I kind of have a sick love of like like when the ice has melted and then it's like your Diet Coke and it's kind of just like watered down Diet Coke with the ice.
You like that. Like it. Yeah. Well, I didn't know we were going to do Ice Talk Minute, but I'm so glad we did. It's been a segment that was sort of died on the vine. You know?
If it's going to be a hot year this year, I might splurge and buy an ice maker.
Whoa. Okay.
The time has come.
Yeah, that sounds so fun. I mean, it is something that is like sort of a luxury. Like I never think about it. I hate my ice trays.
Yeah.
I make like 6 ice cubes, and then it takes 24 hours to get the next 6.
I know, and if you're entertaining, forget it.
Oh yeah, I have no ice.
You just have to go get a bag of ice. But yeah, the dream is to have the thing like that Jax breaks the glass in, like the like true like bar ice machine.
Oh yes.
Like you can get a whole scoop.
Oh yes. Yeah, I would love that. Can I be one of the first people to try some of your ice if you get a maker?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, well that has been the Summer Ice Minute. Maybe we can get sponsored.
By ice? Yeah, like the polar bear ice?
Yeah, or like who makes that ice maker? Is it like it's like I think maybe it's Frigidaire. I don't know.
What if they're like, your ice delivery arrived and then it's just a pool of water in a plastic bag? You know what I mean?
It's like remember in The Great Gatsby, there's like the heat wave, and then, well, I think both, but yeah, they, you know, before they had air conditioning, they would put like a cube of ice in front of a fan.
Yes.
It would blow you.
Yes.
It would blow you.
Yes, I like that. Old timey ice, big bricks of ice.
Let's have an ice party.
Okay, that's so fun. All right.
Let's do a record inside an ice lounge.
Maybe, I love the idea of that. Maybe we can incorporate different types of ice if we possibly have a watch party on the 17th.
We could have an ice sculpture of Jiggy
Oh, that is so nice.
and
Okay.
an ice luge.
Hopefully it's hot that day, so people are stoked on all this ice. But anyway, well, yeah, that's amazing. That's great. And then I knew we did want to talk about ice. Was there anything more news we wanted to talk about before we get into this explosive episode of Vanderpump Rules?
I don't think so. I mean, I had written down James Kennedy bought a house.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yes.
In the Valley, which I feel like he has kind of made fun of people living in the Valley, but
yeah,
the market has spoken.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and people were trying to pretend like it was a poop hole that he bought, but they don't know that house that was actually there, I think, was demolished, and they created a new house there.
Oh,
they showed this like really, yeah, they showed this like really. I know they're like, this is what you could buy for $1 million in Burbank or whatever, but that's not actually the house. Like it's like a renovated house. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely renovated. It has the like what they call the like gentrification fence
Oh, it
of
does.
like the like horizontal slats.
I'm proud of it.
I mean that's a big accomplishment. It's just funny that it's such a single family home. Like it's not like pimping at all.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's just
it's just like a family home in Burbank. It does have a pool, which is great. But I'm like, why didn't he could have gotten like a condo, like like live in a high rise that's like sexier.
Yeah. Do you think
it's not my vibe, but like. It's DJ James Kennedy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really gel with his like image, I guess, but I think it's just indicative of just how expensive it is to buy property here, and he just wants, a home. How many bedrooms was it? Like 3?
I think it's 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
amazing.
A pool. That's great. He'll definitely turn up in the pool.
Do you think he'll invite us?
Yes.
Okay. When for the housewarming?
I want to get there by no later than July.
Okay, so we're hoping that he invites us like maybe July 4th for the July party.
They should be filming by then, no?
Yes, for sure. Well, yeah, I guess. Okay, so is that the last bit of news?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I want to talk about just your overall thoughts before we dive deep into this episode, because I don't know really what you thought about this. How did you feel about season 10, episode 14? What's it called? There's just something about her?
There's something about
There's
her.
something about her. How did you feel about this episode?
Had a great time.
Yes.
By the end, I was hooting and hollering.
Me too.
It was, I was entertained throughout, but the end obviously was major.
Yes.
How about you?
Exactly the same. First 20 minutes, I was very worried. I was very worried when I started to get little peeks into the something about her launch and Raquel shopping for lightning bolt necklace. I was like, uh-oh, back-to-back scenes where I'm just not loving life here. This is not fun. But then when they get something about her, and it's like, I don't want to go so in detail, but then, the something about her launch, which was like ironically interesting, and then the Lisa's birthday, which we've never seen Lisa's birthday ever because they're filming in September. They're filming so late this season for some reason that we get a glimpse at what Lisa does on her birthday or the day after her birthday. I was like, that's the best 20 minutes, maybe of the season. top 3, up with Hermosa Beach, up with the divorce dinner that Katie and Schwartz had. I was like, this is an iconic moment this season. I loved every minute of it.
Totally. And I think, obviously it was made so much better with the knowledge of what's to come. But I think, to answer the question of whether this season would have been any good without Scandal, this episode still would have been entertaining.
Yes, it would have ended on a high note. We had been, I think, skeptical of how this drama between Schwartz and Raquel was sort of a flop, and that how much energy can you actually drain out of this moment that like was just so boring and nothing. But the fact that Raquel keeps bringing it back to Katie,
she's a pest.
Like just can't stop talking about it with Katie at this party. Finally, Katie's rage and her light them on fire mentality finally culminates in pure, beautiful rage. And Raquel, I was like, wow, the storyline actually did work because Raquel kept bringing it to Katie. Yes, she poked the bear and Katie poked back. It was amazing.
I just can't even imagine. I feel like, I'm like averse to confrontation in general, but I would just be like, she kind of tried, but I would just be like, I'm not talking to you.
Katie.
Raquel.
Oh.
Like, I'd be like, she does try and say, like, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you, but, like, I would just be like, I'm not even having this conversation at all.
Well,
like,
but Katie does say that.
I know.
She says it a lot.
I know.
She's like, why are you talking to me? What are you doing right now? Get away. It's like,
I would literally just, like, run around the restaurant, and Raquel would still just, like, follow her around. If she just tried to, like, walk away, she just keeps popping up like whack-a-mole.
Raquel coming out, we're getting into it, but we'll go back and do it, like, in depth. But Raquel coming back out for round 2 with Katie in the Sir Island.
It's, like, shocking.
It was shocking. I was like, whoa, Raquel.
And Schwartz doesn't even, like,
No.
he's not like, why are you out here? Like, don't. Like, this is, like, my thing to deal with. He's like, let her talk.
Let her talk. Katie, don't be so mean to her. Easily, he could have just said, hey, do you mind if we have 1 minute? He could have still maintained the nice guy persona.
Right.
And just said, Raquel, I'm sorry, we are having a little bit of a private talk. But he lets Raquel have a moment with his wife who's so upset with him, gives her time, is on her side versus Katie's again. It's shocking.
Ridiculous.
Wild.
Well, we will circle back to all of that in detail, but let's start out yet again at Villa Rosa.
Yes.
I love that we're getting so much Villa Rosa.
Yeah, I knew you would like that little scene. Did you love it?
Ken is talking to Diamonds, the mini horse, and he's like, I can tell you're getting a little friend. And then they have to replace Rose. They got a brown horse named Velvet, and Lisa's like crying to Diamonds. She's like, I know it's not Rose, but it's a new friend. I was like, stop, I can't handle this. Yeah,
that was so sweet. And when Ken was saying, I know you're excited for a new friend, I didn't think the friend would be right there. The Velvet was arriving. That was really sweet.
I love that they care so much about their little petting zoo that they have to keep it maintained. I mean, I think horses are social creatures, so they do need a friend. So I'm glad they're on top of that, because I'm sometimes worried about when people have questionable, like, farm pets or exotic pets at residential homes, but they seem to really know and care about how they live.
Like Schwartz with Dog, when he murdered his animal, his rare exotic animal, in 3 days.
He was alive for like 48 hours.
And Schwartz is like, yeah, I did everything you're supposed to do for him. He just, I don't know, he died. It's like,
depression.
Could you imagine how bad they were taking care of Dog?
I don't even want to think about it. Okay, so then we're at Something About Her, which is ongoing in this episode.
Well, it kind of starts with, there's just a little moment of them going, we can talk about it because there's just that Sheena daughter scene, and then it's the first big scene is Something About Her. So Sheena's just playing with, or Brock's playing with her daughter. She's like, put on an umbrella. That's the only Sheena moment I think we get this entire episode, right? Because Sheena can't be part of it.
She gets COVID.
Yeah.
But I just wrote down Sheena and Brock. Happy for them.
Yeah.
Like, their life just seems nice.
Yeah.
Like, they seem like they actually like each other. They love their baby, and they live in their little condo or whatever, and they just, like, seem happy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's nice.
I love all the glimpses we get. Even they're just, like, nice little snippets of their life. I really do enjoy it. And then we see Something About Her, and this complete, I'm just going to say it, rush job of them trying to get this place to look even halfway decent so they can have a finale party. So my theory, remember last week or whatever, I was like, when they found out that Schwartz and Sandy's was not going to be open, which in the storybook for this season, when the producers were going through it, they were like, and a huge finale party in Schwartz and Sandy's, we'll push the schedule. You guys, you need more time, whatever. We're going to make it so the end of this is Schwartz and Sandy's. That'll complete the perfect arc. Yeah. And then the minute when that wasn't possible, because we see all of the floundering that goes on, they were like, okay, Katie and Ariana have a business, right?
They're like, we'll put like a single table in the center and just like stack up some sandwiches, and that's it.
Did you see the kitchen?
Yeah.
It had like medical waste on it, and plastic gloves, and like a defunct Slurpee machine. It was like, and Ariana or Katie's like, we're gonna need to clean the kitchen. And Ariana goes, yeah, definitely.
Penny, the chef consultant, is not gonna like that.
No, who is? Okay, so yeah, I wanted to ask you, who is Penny? I completely forgot who Penny was.
I don't know, but they imply that she came to them by way of Lisa, right?
Yes, they imply that, and they consider her a professional because they say, unlike Shorts and Sandy's, we're going to work with a professional. We're not too proud to work with a professional or something. Are they talking shit about Greg or something?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, so it's just they keep like every time Schwartz and Sandoval talk about something about her, they're saying like, if only what would it was so simple.
What would it? Yeah, what is that line? An iconic, beautiful line from Hail Caesar. Yeah. What would it?
I can't get it.
Yeah, I forget.
Either.
Yeah, right.
What would if it were so simple? What it were?
What if it were so simple or whatever? They're just like they are so talking fancifully about how easy something about her is. It's like it's locked and loaded.
They say that, and then it's like they're gonna take just as long to open, despite being a much simpler concept.
I'm just wondering, they think the size is so much more manageable that the fact that they're not serving alcohol, they're just like, that is a one and done, rip it and grip it. They're in and out. Like, what are they talking about?
What makes you think that? Like, they haven't started at all yet. There's nothing in there. Like, what do you think?
They keep saying, I'm so jealous of them.
It's so weird. And then, they're like, unlike them, we're willing to ask professionals for help. And it's like, well, they do have an investor who's kind of like helping them run the shots over there. The problem is like they need, I'm not trying to sympathize with the Schwartz and Sandy's difficulty opening, but what they've been saying recently is that the staffing is the hard part.
Yes.
Which I'm like, it should be interesting when something about her gets to that point.
Exactly. Oh, right. When people are like walking out, I wish we would have seen a little bit of like the staff revolting. I think I said that. I wish we could see like the staff walk out. It's like the chef taking off his apron and throwing his chef's hat on the ground in defiance. Yeah. But anything about this scene, besides them having to clean up this place for the first time, Ariana points to the patio and is like, "That's the cute little patio," and then there's like sewage. Sludge. I was loving just watching because we've talked about something about her. I was like imagining your reaction to something about her. Like it could not have looked worse. And I love Ariana and Katie more than life itself, and I feel like this was a total rush job. Like they did not even want to do this. That's why it wasn't. That's why it sat unopened for a year. They were not ready to make this commitment. Production pushed this on them, and that's why there was raw sewage, brown like water under the patio.
That's from the Chud Tunnel. But I think this happens later, but when they have the table in the center for their setup, and Ariana's like, should we steam this tablecloth? And Katie's like, no.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's the only thing in the entire room, and you don't even care about what that looks like.
That was so indicative of this entire setup. The fact that she wouldn't even waste a second to make the tablecloth look good. The only thing that is there.
And their glasses were borrowed from Schwartz and Sandy's.
I know.
That was fun.
So there wasn't like this scene. I just said, who is Penny? Because I feel like they must have cut out a scene where we were introduced to her. She's like the restaurant consultant, I guess.
No, it was kind of confusing. And then they kind of talk about, while they're cleaning up the slop kitchen, they talk about the whole drama about Labor Day.
Yes, and Ariana states definitively that she doesn't actually really care what Tom was doing that day. She thinks it was sort of overblown. She's not going to criticize Lala for bringing up something about the relationship. Like, she's not going to get mad, but she was totally fine with what happened. Yeah. So she's sort of like, Sandoval's out of the doghouse. She's not thinking about that anymore.
She just doesn't want people questioning her relationship, which I was going to bring this up before, but I saw Lala yet again I don't know if it was her podcast or someone else's, but she was saying, Lala said that when she brought up that Labor Day situation to Ariana at that Tom Tom party, it didn't make the cut, but Ariana basically did bravo, bravo, bravo on her. No. And was like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, she was like, she shut it down. And she was like, no, like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm not interested. And then they sort of like found a way back in, and she was like willing to entertain it, but she was like, Tom, you need to like come be part of this.
Oh, so that was so before they actually had this conversation, Ariana was like not letting it happen.
Yeah, which I'm like, they should have left that in. That's interesting.
I know.
Like, I think that now that like the cat's out of the bag on the fourth wall kind of thing, sometimes it really adds something special. Like, I don't remember. Do you watch Potomac?
Yeah, but up to like season 4, so, and I've only seen it once, so I might not be knowledgeable. Okay. But just tell me the.
Well, there's on the newest, just past season. So you know, Ashley Darby, her husband turned out to be like a perv kind of, and he got in trouble for
grabbing ass.
Yeah, so he's like the pervy husband of the group. But then on this newest season, they sort of tried to start up this thing that Candace's husband was inappropriate. Yeah, Chris.
Who I love.
I like him too.
Yeah.
But Giselle makes a comment about him, something that happened backstage at the reunion that really didn't add up to anything. Like I not to stand with a man in this situation, but it kind of just didn't sound like anything.
Okay.
Like,
it wasn't grabbing ass.
No, it was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And she's like, I felt very uncomfortable being alone in a room with him.
Oh, wow.
And it's like she invited him into her dressing room, and then afterwards was like, I think it's weird for a married man to be alone in a room with a woman. I was like, do you live under like the Taliban rule? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you can be like alone with a man.
Yeah.
Like, that's like Mike Pence rules. Like,
yeah, totally. That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They keep kind of trying to make this storyline happen. Like a friend of one of them is saying that Chris DM'd her, so they're all kind of. It's clearly becoming the next storyline, and Candace is like, they do fourth wall breaking where she's like, "Where's my producer?" And they keep it all in, and she's like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not letting this happen. I see what you guys are doing, and I'm not letting it happen. Like, she's like, I see this storyline working itself out in real time, and I'm not participating.
Wow.
Okay. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Ariana shut it down. What was Lala? I mean, I wish I would have listened to this. What was Lala's, like, how was she saying it? Like, was she just matter of fact about the situation?
She wasn't like mad. She was kind of like similar to how she ended up acting on the version they showed, where she was like, it's actually technically not my business. I just wanted to like bring it up. So yeah, I would love to see that footage.
Me too. I mean, I have to make a quick segue, but did you see the never before scenes from last week's episode?
I didn't. Was there any highlights?
Yeah, I mean, very quickly, Sheena starts crying at the glamping trip because she gets the wedding footage back, and it was completely foggy or something, and the cameras couldn't acclimate to the Cancun weather, so the scenes of them coming out and walking down the aisle are fully foggy, and Sheena breaks down crying because their footage is so bad.
She should have vlogged it herself.
Totally. And then they showed another scene where James and Schwartz have this full reconciliation at Heartspring, and James says, I'm so sorry I did that. And Schwartz says, I did not mean to make that joke. I respect you completely. And they have this like full loving reconciliation, and they just didn't include that in the episode.
Wow. Well, I have it recorded. I will watch it later today.
Good. Okay, so are we moving out? We learned that Ariana did not like that conversation, and you just added more fuel to that fire. She is fully on Sandoval. She doesn't care what Sandoval said. He was taking a shit, and she believes it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I think she also, her attitude in that conversation, I feel like paints their entire relationship of like, you know, they have a conversation later, but like, it just feels like she's like unwilling to even go there, both to like talk about it with other people, but also even with him.
Yeah.
Like
maybe on the show too. A little bit, you know, like
sure.
There is this layer of their relationship that she does not want to peel back on camera, and she sort of nips it in the bud, because I felt that too in their scene together later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to. Last week I was trying to understand Ariana at the end of that conversation. Ariana like just chugs the wine, and she's sort of looking at Lala with this expression that I couldn't determine what she meant, and I do think now it was like aggravation at this being brought up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Yep.
And then next, we are going shopping with Raquel and Charlie.
Thank God. Why couldn't they make this scene longer? I was like, oh, please, can we spend 10 minutes at moonbeams and polka dots and see this shopping experience that Charlie and Raquel are having?
Charlie is playing her role. She is really just like Raquel's like scene partner whenever they need to throw her in.
Yeah, someone for Raquel to say what she's thinking to, like just completely like just, Raquel, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, unchallenged. They talk about James. They're saying that James is more into Allie than she is into him, that he sees her as his future wife and she sees him as her current boyfriend.
Yeah, Charlie
Do you
says
agree?
That. No, I think that, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Allie enough. Like, she could just be more reserved than James.
Yeah.
James is obviously one of the most, like, you know, outgoing, vibrant. He's, I don't know, extra personality. He likes being over the top. Allie seems very reserved. I don't know how much, like, Allie loves him, but there does seem to be love and respect there. I don't know if I can judge it enough. What do you think?
I think I tend to agree with what they were saying, but maybe to a less harsh degree.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if they got married.
Oh, I think they're going to get married.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I need to see them one more season. I need to see more scenes of them.
Yeah.
I just don't know Allie enough. I know that I don't love her reaction, which we'll get into, but I still don't love her reaction to what happened at Hermosa Beach.
Right.
It's fine. It's time for her to finally accept that what James did at Hermosa Beach was iconic and beautiful and powerful. But one thing I did note here is that Raquel talks about how she hated the Heartspring event to Charlie. She's like, I actually had a really bad time. Here's why I had a bad time. Katie and her mom didn't even say hi back to me at the Heartspring event. And I was just thinking, they showed the clip of Raquel going, hi.
Yeah.
And then them going, hi, hey, why the hell does Raquel, why is she still confused as to why Katie and her mom are not saying hi back to her or are mad at her or do not like her? What is she still confused by?
Yeah, she like deletes all data like every 24 hours.
Seriously. I'm watching her and I'm just like, what do you think? Why do you not yeah, exactly what you said. Why do you not remember what led up to this point? You can't imagine a world where Katie doesn't give you a very happy hello when she sees you at this point?
Yeah.
That was wild. Then we get anything else to say before they get that beautiful lightning bolt necklace?
Oh my god. I mean, all I have to say about that is, to impulse buy a piece of jewelry that expensive at a store like that as an afterthought was so strange to me.
Counter theory, Megan was saying, which I would never know this, but Megan was saying that moonbeams and polka dots for publicity could have just said, have a shopping spree on us, feature the store, anything you pick up. And Charlie was like, get that $780 necklace.
Like, not that.
Actually, sorry, the clothes. I saw someone posted it. I think someone I follow on TikTok, very valuable resource. But someone showed that necklace is still on their website. It's $480, not $780 anymore. So huge discount.
Wow, I love these detectives. I didn't even think to do that.
Yeah, and then also there was a little bit of early Terry shade for Raquel. Raquel was like, after she says she was slighted by Katie and her mom, she was like, I guess it's, I think she says, I guess I can see where Katie gets it.
Oh.
Terry shade, early. Katie's mom.
Terry's like not problematic. Like,
Terry is a perfect human being. Every word she has spoken this season has been true, powerful. She's like Robert in the Summer House universe.
Yeah.
100% accuracy. Speaking truth. Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, then we get to, I knew you were going to like this scene coming up. I knew it. The booth. We see Schwartz and Sandy's gets their booth.
Which I know that probably pissed you off because you hate the booth. You wish they never got it delivered.
I hate the booth, but they were like, okay, we had 95% of this puzzle figured out.
De resistance.
Finally, 5% is here and we can open this bad boy. Look at this booth. And they're just like sitting on it triumphantly. Schwartz is like about to cry.
He is like despondent in this scene. He has like 1,000-yard stare.
He is like, Sandoval, are you sure we have to do the scene where you talk about Ariana being annoyed with you again? He can barely even give it up. He's supposed to be here to tease out the storyline that Sandoval wanted. I mean, this is my theory, that Sandoval wanted to portray of Ariana and his relationship dissolving.
Yeah.
Schwartz can barely even do it.
I was like, whatever. I guess, whatever. I felt bad for him when
Schwartz.
when he was like, I just miss my family. He just seemed really sad.
Because I want to give him a hug. He looked like he was about to cry.
Yeah.
Not to spoil it, but he is emotional the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
He is in a very, very bad place. I've never seen him like this. We've been talking about how unhinged Schwartz is this entire season.
Yeah.
How disconnected he is from everything. How aimless he is. And this really just he could barely get through the scene without crying. It felt like.
Yeah, he looked really bummed out, and then he had to entertain Sandoval having the same exact conversation that they had at the bagel place.
I just feel like she just is so annoyed with me.
Yeah.
She just finds me annoying. It's like Schwartz is like, yeah. Oh, she does feel that. Oh, and do you think that's indicative of your relationship in a bigger way? You gotta nip that in the bud.
Yeah, she's like so bored. And then like the A+ moment is Sandoval being like, she doesn't do anything around the house. Like there's pens in the house and like batteries in the drawers, and it's like, I'm the one that does that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, we're so low on AA batteries, and I'm always the person restocking.
I mean,
batteries.
Is there anything worse than buying batteries though? I hate buying batteries. They're so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I have just a few in my drawer, just like Sandoval, but I don't really consider it such a major feat to have them or anything worth ever commenting on. He also complains about her not buying toilet paper. He's like, he has 4 things that Ariana did to him that he's just constantly referencing. He's like, let's throw in the pins and batteries thing. And then he's really stretching it when he starts talking about his hang gliding thing. He's like,
we will really dig into that. We're not there yet.
So anything else about the scene besides the how Schwartz is just completely withdrawn from this storyline? He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He's so sad. And we just learned that Schwartz and Sandy's, they talk about like a future tasting that is going to happen that we never see in this episode. And I assume it's not included in this season. It's just like... Yeah,
I'm like, also... Thank God, because if we had to watch them do another tasting, I would have.
Imagine if James was invited to another looky-loo at Schwartz and Sandy's.
Oh my God, no. But yeah, I will say, do you think that one time Sandoval went to take a shit, as he is one to do, and there was just a cardboard tube, no toilet paper, and that was the final straw, and he just texted Raquel from the toilet and was like, I'm coming over.
Amy, you just painted such a powerful picture of probably exactly what happened. Sandoval, who we know exclusively, we found out that he shits. He got up from the toilet looking for toilet paper, and I think Ariana
did not. He had his bell bottoms around his knees.
It's all jangling.
Shuffling around.
Yeah, like the bells and all the stuff, accoutrement on his pants is all jingling, and he's looking for a toilet paper, and Ariana did not, restock the toilet paper, right?
She never does.
Yeah. And so then, what did you say?
If you would just say that, we could maybe all feel a little sympathy for him.
Yeah. He should. Yeah, why didn't he just paint a picture like that?
She's so depressed that she never buys toilet paper, and I have been left to suffer.
Yeah. Did you think he should have remarked on their toilet paper buying strategy?
I mean, that's a pretty... grasping at straws complaint, but as someone that is like petty and hates like household chores, like I'm like, if I was the only one, I also hate buying toilet paper, also very expensive. Do you ever think about this? Whenever you have to buy, I'm like, did you ever think about this, folks? I'm doing my Seinfeld 20 right now, but like...
Amy just put on dark sunglasses and she's smoking a cigarette.
Why is toilet paper so expensive?
You know what? There was an amazing South Park episode recently where they talked about the scam that toilet paper is. Don't get me started on toilet paper. But
I just bought some this week. You can't get out of there with any decent number of rolls for under like $14.
Trader Joe's has pretty good toilet paper if you get the
you're a
super
TJ head.
soft. Yeah, and then you just combine it with paper towels and nobody knows what the hell you're buying if you just have 2 paper products. They're like, that looks like a guy who just bought 2 different sets of paper towels. If you're ever embarrassed to buy toilet paper.
Well, you know what? See, you buy your TP and that's why you're married.
Yep, I do. Yeah, we never had an issue. When I'm 2 rolls down, I just get it on my weekly Trader Joe's runs.
Yeah. Did we learn nothing from COVID? Our society as a whole, our biggest fear turned out to be without toilet paper.
Do you think Sandoval has just still got a little residual COVID brain where he's like, damn, I never want to run out again?
Yeah, he's like, why? It's like strikes into his very core of like survival.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there was any way for him to figure out how to get Ariana in on these pen shortages and battery shortages and toilet paper shortages.
What does he need all these batteries for anyway?
I am not sure what he's charging over there. Who knows what the hell that guy is doing? Charging his batteries for God knows what.
His lightning bolt.
Yeah.
He's like all about electricity. He has to maintain the power source.
Totally. I'm sure his gym has a lot of like weird lights and stuff that needs batteries. He seems like a battery guy to me. Dude, I'm glad we got a lot out of that scene because that scene was so like obviously bleak and boring to me. But then we get to the first sense that we are in a finale and that this was powerful to me.
Yes,
beautiful scene.
Yeah, straight out the gate, a kitty appearance. I always have to mark when there's a cat.
Oh yeah.
So there was a cat and Maya the dog, and Ariana's talking about her sandwiches and. She says, like, we have a logo, and he's like, you guys have a logo? Can I see it? And I'm like, why doesn't he know?
What the hell? One conspiracy up top, because that is exactly the sequence of events, but one little detail I noticed is that it's like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., it's getting dark, and Sandoval goes, do you want some coffee? And Ariana's like, sure, I'll take one. I don't want to have too much. Obviously, it's really late, for some reason. But I think the way Sandoval acted, he was trying to highlight in this scene the little things he does for Ariana that he wouldn't have done if it was on camera, because the way he says it is almost kind of performative.
Right.
Like he's getting the dumpling latte.
Yeah. Well, at first
ready.
I was like, when he first goes like, do you want one or do you want anything? I was like, my brain immediately shot back to that finale trailer where he's like, do you want anything? And she's like, for you to die. So when he was like, do you want one? I was like, is she gonna be like, for you to die? And then it was something else. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay, we're safe. She's not going to tell him that she wants him to die yet. Yeah, no, I really do think, I want people to rewatch, if you ever do rewatch, and see if my theory is right. Sandoval comes off a little performative when he's talking about those coffees, and it's also a weird time to drink coffee. I think he wanted this scene where he knows they're going to delve deep into their relationship to be started off with the little things he does for Ariana. And we already know, because they keep playing that clip of where Schwartz is like, does she do anything back for you? And he goes, no.
Yeah, no, we needed evidence of the dumpling latte.
Yeah, did you see when she shows off something about her logos that they're all pixelated?
I'm sorry, I'm unimpressed.
Well, it's just
like Times New Roman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It looks like our I Survived Argentine beef week design a little bit, don't you think? I mean, just a very simple black on white, like.
Yeah.
I think it just lends more credence to the theory that this was not ever going to be the focus this season. They had to ramp it up, because this is like the logos.
They're like, get someone to Kinko's.
Yeah.
Get this foam core sign.
They couldn't even focus on making the logos look crisp, for production.
Right. Yeah, no, and so, I mean, maybe that's why he didn't know that they had a logo, because maybe they just pulled it out of their ass,
production just
overnight.
ripped them, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, like we said, they just immediately go into the fact that he thinks that she finds him annoying.
But I had a quick question at the top, because so Sandoval pivots, he gets the conversation to go in a deeper mode. He says, okay, let's stop talking about the logo. Lala really came at me about the Labor Day story and blah, blah, blah. And he opens up the conversation. And then he's like, you agree with me on how the timing of the Labor Day events went. And Ariana's like, yes, I never had a problem with it or whatever. And then Sandoval says something which I don't know what it means, but he goes, I knew that if I go home, I'm going to want to do something about it. And Ariana goes, yeah, I know, you would have, or whatever.
That's how you are.
But What was he talking about?
Yeah.
Like, did we miss a sentence where she said, I was really annoyed with you, and if you came, or I was really depressed, like I was in a depressed state, and if you would have come home, like there was nothing he could have done because he's been with her in those situations.
Right.
There was like a piece missing here.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense, but I just assumed it meant like he is like solution oriented or whatever, and she just wants to like feel her feelings. But yeah, it's like there is no solving someone's grandma dying, so I don't really know exactly what he like meant, except unless he was trying to imply that like they would have gotten into an argument because he wouldn't have handled it in a way that she would have liked.
Yes, which lends more, which he says, in the last episode, he's like, I thought you needed your space, or whatever. He keeps saying like, I thought you would want to be alone.
Right.
So I guess there is something to that. But then he's talking about, I didn't want to annoy you, and then he gets into his annoyance rant again, and he's added new little phrases to this where he says, I feel like my very presence annoys you, and then Ariana says, I never have used the words your very presence, which that's not
what he said.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
He didn't say that she said that. He said that he feels that his very presence annoys her. So it was weird that she was like, I don't talk like that. And it's like, well, he does.
It's hard to talk about this scene and be objective because of what we know about how horrible Sandoval is to Ariana, and how 100% she, we feel like she is a victim to his cheating and his awful behavior.
But watching it blind, assuming that we don't know what's going on,
yes,
one could think that she wasn't really willing to participate.
One could think? One could think?
The divorce is
I guess let's just, it's almost devil's advocate, but it is devil's advocate because whatever he said in this scene is rendered moot completely by what we know he has done, and how he wasn't actually being honest with her, how he wasn't actually trying to make the relationship better, how he planned on breaking up with her. But if Ariana was willing to go deep into the relationship on camera, this did not provide the best example of really hearing Sandoval's complaints. Would you say? Is that too egregious to say?
Yeah. They just like couldn't get on the same page. It didn't seem like she was trying particularly hard, but also it was like too big of a conversation to be having.
Yes. Well, so a little snippet is like, Tom is like, I feel like you find me annoying. You snap at me. I feel like you belittle me, and it really hurts my feelings. Which, when someone says it hurts my feelings, like that is the most like resounding thing you can say. And I'm not making Sandoval, like he's in the right or whatever. I'm just saying, when something hurts your feelings, it's good to get to the bottom of it, because like hurt feelings, and we were just talking about with Danielle, it's like when you hurt someone's feelings, you really do need to like think about that and what you're doing, especially with a significant other. And then Sandoval's like, we didn't even take a photo at Sheena's wedding. That shows how distant we are. Ariana says, which is the cool way of saying it, and it's true, like it's true on its face that that's not indicative of a bad relationship. Yeah. But Sandoval is just saying as an example, and it's something that means something to him. Right. And then Ariana's like, that doesn't mean anything that we didn't take a photo. And he's like, okay, are you just going to nitpick every example? That's not the best example, but it's just an example I brought up. And Ariana's not willing to meet him at a deeper level.
Well, yeah, because it's like, even if you disagree with that mattering, you do agree that you guys are drifting apart. Yes. So whether that exact example is a perfect one, you can at least, you both agree that you are living separate lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very reasonable theory now that like you said it with that Lala re-editing conversation. It is a reasonable theory to assume that Ariana does not want to delve that deep in a conversation on the show. Right. We've seen how deep, obviously, the deep conversations people can have, but maybe it's a limit to what Ariana really wants to discuss on camera, and that's why she's not getting to this deeper layer that Sandoval's talking about. Then Sandoval, I loved what Ariana said. She was like, we used to, cook together and put on the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Then now Tom Sandoval is exclusively, partying and getting drunk. That's his quality
Everyone
time.
gets to see him peacock, except for her.
Yeah. And you fully sympathize with Ariana because you're like, we've seen that 1,000 times this season. That is definitely what is going on. Their difference in quality time is, they have such a difference in what the quality time means.
He's like, what do you mean? Like, what is your definition of quality time? She's like, taking a walk around the neighborhood, cooking dinner. And then it cuts to, is the best part.
Yes.
The producer says to Tom, what's your definition of quality time? He's like, gets all fired up, energized. He's like, let's take mushrooms and watch the sunrise. Let's go skinny dipping in the pool. Let's go hang gliding. And he's like, he starts clicking. I like stimuli.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're an insane person. That's the most batshit thing I've ever heard. Hang gliding?
Yeah, it really is. As soon as you feel any sympathy for Sandoval's side of things, they just nip it in the bud completely, and you're like, Sandoval, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, your rock star lifestyle that you want.
Is Raquel going hang gliding? Is that what the first thing she said to him? She's like, baby, you're never gonna forget me. Let's go hang gliding.
Honey, let's take mushrooms and go hang gliding, please, for our first date. And Sandoval's like, I'm in. Raquel.
Two local Angelinas found dead after a mushroom-induced hang gliding accident in Malibu Canyon.
That is just a hypothetical high. Obviously not something that we endorse at all. But yeah, it is. That sort of deflates Sandoval's argument completely when the producer asks that. That is such a fanciful idea of a relationship. It's so ridiculous.
It's absurd.
It is like, it shows the place in his life where there's so much hubris. He's a rock star now. He's performing in front of live crowds. Everyone looks at him with these adoring eyes, and he's just having to sit at home and watch Love Island with Ariana like a normal person when he wants to go hang gliding. He fully loses, that scene. It has no merit after that. He does cry and talks about their intimacy, which
4 times a year.
But then Ariana counters him and says, I never see you. I can't have sex with a stranger.
Right.
Which, I fully believe her.
Yeah.
Anything to say? Well, I was just gonna say, and it's sort of like the wrap up, but so he says, I want us to be better. I love you at the end of it. He had been planting the seeds of a storyline potentially where he breaks up with Ariana. If he wanted to start that conversation, this would have been the scene.
Yeah.
She wasn't so, like he said in the Howie Mandel interview when he talks about her mental health and gives us this look into her mental health when using it as an excuse for why he couldn't break up with her. She didn't seem at all like that news would have just broken her completely. Like if
not
he wanted,
like last week.
No, if he wanted to, do you think this could have been the scene where instead of saying, let's work on it, and I love you, if he's already starting a relationship with Raquel, which we know he is, why didn't he use this opportunity on camera to follow through with the storyline and break up with her?
Yeah. I feel like when I was watching with people, we were saying, was this about to be
You watched The People? I didn't know that.
I did.
Were people hooting and hollering?
We were hooting. Yeah, we had some Vanderpump Rosé.
That is so fun.
I
love that. So say that again. Sorry, say that.
No, we were saying the same thing of was this going to be a breakup scene, but it got aborted or whatever. But she seemed. But then we'll get to it later. But her conversation with Raquel, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's if they haven't broken up at this point, what would it have taken for them to actually break up? You know what I mean?
Yes, but why didn't Sandoval, who I know, I mean, it's my theory, I fully believe the reason those short scenes are so annoying, or he keeps bringing up the annoying factor in having these scenes with shorts, is to lay the groundwork for a breakup scene and then say that his relationship started with Raquel at the reunion and have an iconic entrance of their relationship, and he didn't care about the messy timeline. He didn't want anybody to know about the timeline. He would have just said, people would have been shocked, but he would have said, Ariana and I broke up, and I love Raquel, and we would have been like, oh my god, the scandal of it, but it would have had a tenth of the power of what
Right.
actually happened.
Right.
I'm just wondering, this could have been a scene where he does it.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's like, you know, he had like a little mini breakdown, but yeah, they just like don't have the energy to like do it.
Yes.
Like they just can't get there.
Yes.
And you know, I liked that when it sounds like basically, you know, she's jealous that he parties and has fun without her, and he's jealous of like her gay best friend, and he's like, you don't think I like Beyonce?
Yeah, and then she was like, well, we talk about Love Island because we watch, you know, Love Island. We do Love Island binges, and he goes, which I thought was actually funny, even though I'm so mad. He goes, I don't have time to watch goddamn 50 episodes of Love Island.
That's why I don't watch Love Island, but like all my friends watch it, and I'm like, I have all the time in the world, and I still don't have time to watch that show as much as it's on.
I don't have time to watch 50 goddamn episodes of Love
Which
Island.
I'm like, this is so real. Like, how many couples, like I've had this in my own life where like, if you don't watch the same shows, it can be a real problem.
Yeah, that's why Megan and I have the Bravo universe. We have our separate shows. Well, I will not touch with a 10-foot pole. She has shows that she will not touch with a 10-foot pole, like Boardwalk Empire.
Okay.
I get my shows, but then we coalesce around Bravo.
Yes.
You know, that's
for sure. But like Bravo's a big universe. So, but you're now delving into all of them, and she's already into it. But yeah, like Jimmy, he picks and chooses his Bravo. You know, he's not in on all of them. But you know, it's important. It's like he actually like has to participate so that, because it's such a big part of my interests.
Yes, totally. Yeah, no, totally. I get it. You're right. Like there does need to be some common ground because TV watching is just such a part of, you know, like, your lives and relationships.
Do you think if Sandoval watched Love Island, their relationship would have survived?
Yeah, I'm like surprised. Like Sandoval's just not a big TV watcher, I guess.
It's also funny to think about Ariana, because Ariana's not particularly in like part of the major drama. Like she doesn't create drama on the show, so it's funny that she loves a different reality show. You know, like that she loves watching it. You know, like even though she's like on one.
Yeah, I love that. I love when you hear like their tastes outside of like the Bravo universe, and like they're obsessed with Love Island. I love getting glimpses into that. I love that Ariana listens to the War on Drugs. Like that's so cool. I love outside references. Yeah.
So that was depressing.
Yeah. Do you think we did that scene justice? Right. Yeah. That was like.
It's kind of that's like to be continued. I feel like that was like part one, and then her and Raquel is part two.
Totally.
And so then we're with James and Allie next. Another cat appearance. James quickly is on the phone with his little brother, who he thanks for cat sitting, which I'm like, I hope the season's over, but I would love a little insert of his brother cat sitting.
Oh, that'd be so sweet. Probably in the middle of next week's episode, they'll just do a flashback to when his brother cat
pouring cat food into a bowl.
It's between the scene when Tom and Ariana are fighting on the couch, and she says, "It's not about fucking Raquel," and then it goes, "Meanwhile." This scene was, you know, he talks about Imagine Festival. They're going right after.
Yes.
Like this day, her and Allie are going to get ready, right? In Atlanta, I think, is Imagine Festival.
Yeah. I liked that they're talking about what to wear to something about her. And James is like, well, Lisa's gonna be there, and Allie's like, so a gown, which felt very Patricia on Southern Charm, of like whenever she's gonna be somewhere, everyone feels the need to be well dressed, well behaved, the sort of grande dame of the show.
Yeah, I understand that reference now. I love it.
But yeah, Allie's like giving him shit about the Tower 12 day again, telling him that he should go to therapy. Yeah,
and also like James talks about how meeting Lisa is a big deal, you know, for him, and he's like, Lisa will probably want to have a chat with you, and Allie goes, about what?
Yeah.
She's like, why do I have to talk to Lisa tonight?
Like it's weird, like especially I feel like it's interesting. she's a new person in the group, and now that the show is so not Sir-centric, it really doesn't make sense. Whereas before, you always had to go kiss the ring.
Yes.
You know, and usually a girlfriend being introduced was asking for a job.
Totally. Brittany, who else?
Yeah, Brittany,
Raquel. Yep.
And I feel like there's even more. It's
Yeah.
always somebody asking for a job.
Yeah, James is sort of like, he's making this moment happen. He's like saying why this is important to him when it might not necessarily be important. And Allie is very skeptical of this Lisa journey she has to go on.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, you don't understand, but she's like my second mummy.
Yes, he says that.
But I love his problematic take on therapy. And he's like, whenever you see someone in the movies going to therapy, it's because their life's in shambles.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like, since when are movies what you refer to in terms of how you should deal with real life? It's like that's the opposite of what you would say to make your claim.
Right. No, it made no sense. And then she was like, no, therapy's great because you can deal with your childhood trauma and all this stuff. And he's like, I don't have childhood trauma. And like we discussed before,
immediately his mind flashes back to like him in the schoolyard being bullied, and he's being like, it's like, I'm sure there is some trauma from that childhood from what we've heard.
Yeah, like he moved countries. His mom was an alcoholic. He had to support his family with money. His dad is like MIA. His dad is like a boozer too. Like, it's insane. I hope he gets the help.
And I'm sort of surprised that he does have this aversion to therapy. He hasn't been in therapy on the show before. I feel like that is like.
They did couples therapy. Him and Kristen did couples therapy.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And he was like.
Maybe he has an aversion to it after that.
Remember, he's like, Kristen, you're being delusional, and the couples therapist is like, we're trying to use I statements, and he's like, I think you're delusional.
That was great. I can't wait till we get there in our recaps.
Oh, yeah, so good. And then we do a quick drop-in at Schwartz's shithole apartment.
Yeah, I wrote so shitty. They show all those big gigantic water bottles, those office water cooler water bottles. He has IKEA instructions laid out. He's got a bunch of confetti in a wrapper.
Someone help him.
Someone help him. Seriously. Like
what the hell?
I mean, I understand maybe he moved in right before filming and he just has not had a minute, but I'm sure
his apartment looked nice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was actually surprised when Terry came over. I was like, oh, her apartment actually is like better decorated than any of their previous homes.
Yeah.
So maybe, her being able to do it by herself was what she needed.
Yeah, and he was kind of like, oh, dude, you caught me working out.
Using those like as seen on TV.
I like those where the hand, isn't it like the hand
thing?
It's like, dude, sorry, you caught me in a moment. I'm totally exercising right now.
Yeah, insane. Sandoval comes over, always carrying suits.
Yeah.
This is like the 20th time he's arrived somewhere carrying.
And he apparently got a what's the venti size coffee right before he showed up, and he poured the entire thing on his shirt.
Yeah, his shirt was like nasty ass.
Yeah.
And what happens? Schwartz is saying that Katie's mad at him yet again. They show classic rage text.
So
it wasn't quite rage text.
So a gossip blog, we don't know who the hell this was, said that they saw Raquel and Schwartz making out all night at the Blue Bayou. Did you hear it?
They went to Disneyland and they made out in the restaurant inside Disneyland. In the restaurant where everyone sees you as you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, you can look out and see them. They kept making out and got on a boat, and then they got off the boat and made out in the bed with the pile of coins on it with the skull.
And the Disneyland stopped the ride and let them climb out with all the pirates so they could participate in the pirate stuff that's going on. No, they did say Bayou, and I was so happy because I thought it was maybe the Blue Bayou, but it was some gossip blog falsely reported that Raquel and Schwartz had this insane makeout all night, and Katie, doing due diligence, said, did this happen? Could this have ever happened? And he goes, no, Raquel is my dude bro girl. She's someone I kissed once, but she's my dude bro now. Yeah. And then it shows Katie, she's like, dude bro, what the heck?
She goes, "Your dude, bro? LOL. Okay, Tom." And he's like, 1,000% a lie on my life. I never kissed her since Cancun. And then she's like, "I'm sick to my stomach."
Seriously. And then Schwartz, just another, like, just moment, baffling, flabbergasted moment for me watching. If I would have known that kissing Raquel would have this much fallout, I would have never done it. You didn't know that the fallout would be this when every single person in your life, every minute of your life said, this will be the fallout.
He's like, I can't believe.
I can't believe that the fallout from me kissing Raquel would have been this bad. It's just like those statements that him and Raquel are making are like, they might as well just say nothing.
Right.
It couldn't look worse.
It's so not worth it.
You could have not been more warned for something you did than how much you were warned.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I'm glad that we're done having to hear this because I can't hear it again. Like, I'm just like,
I can't.
It's boring.
That's what it was like with Raquel. I was like, I can't hear this. A robot is malfunctioning who says 6 phrases, 10 phrases interchangeable with different words,
like,
but they're
Woody pull cord.
Yes.
There's a snake in my boot.
Exactly. She pulled out
Tom can do whatever he wants. You're separated.
Yes. And the final one, when the string gets detached and you can't make any more thing, it just goes, "You're jealous. You're jealous. You're jealous." That's like her last resort, and then she does that stick out tongue. That's like the final phrase she can say. But I do want to remark on this. Schwartz says, "It was a lovely kiss, but it was not at all worth the blowout." I mean, I would say absolutely not worth the blowout, I assume.
No, and then he had a little screaming goat toy that he was like, "This is me."
Yes, well, he says, very, I don't even know the right word, because I'm like, but he says, at the tail end, I think we're at the tail end of this Raquel thing. I think it's almost over. I just need to be cool for a month, and this thing will be gone. Little does he know. Yeah, little does he know what Raquel's going to do. And then Schwartz also tees up the Terry scene that comes later where he says, "Terry is so mad at me. I'm so, I'm so bummed out that Terry's mad at me." And I just, that was interesting that also came to a head. It was like, this was a total precursor to what we're going to see.
Yeah. It's so crazy that, like, so this is still September, like the last episode of September. It's crazy that essentially, as far as we know, they all got to just like live their lives for October, November, December, January, February.
Yes, they're in amber apparently. They didn't move, no one changed, nothing happened, no revelations happened, no changes in dynamics, and then in March.
March 3rd.
Yeah, what they were all just on pause for 6 months or whatever.
So crazy. Like, that was so long ago.
Do you think, I said it earlier, but like the fact that I didn't even know it was Lisa's birthday, because we never see Lisa's birthday on camera. We never see Lala's birthday because of the filming schedule. Do you think they pushed it entirely to make the Schwartz and Sandy's thing work? What is the reason for this extended September timeline we're getting?
Yeah, we need there's going to be the reunions, and then there's going to be like bonus footage reunions. I think they should have Andy host a reunion with producers.
Yes. Oh, that would be so great. And also people in the audience like you and I that just get to ask questions that we have.
Yes.
A town hall.
Yes.
Vanderpump Rules production.
CNN.
Yeah, production town hall. Anderson Cooper could be in there too. They love being together.
AC2.
Yeah. So,
because production does play like a bigger role than usual with this, since it did happen post-season.
They'll never spill the beans. We'll never know why they were filming in September. My theory is they tried to adjust the timeline to make the Schwartz and Sandy's finale work, and it just the boys couldn't bring it.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. Okay, so there's a screaming goat, and then we're back at something about her, because it's so fun and so sexy.
Thank God. They've set up, now I was kind of astounded, they set up this table right in the center. It's circular, it's a little small, with a tablecloth.
Yeah, why is it in the middle of the room?
And this is, it gets to that moment that you shared earlier where Ariana says, "Do you think we should steam this tablecloth?" And Katie says, no.
She's like, who gives a shit? Literally 7 people are coming and they're all our friends anyways.
And by the way, now we are getting in we have talked so much already about the episode, and I love it. We've deep dived, but like now we're getting into those scenes where I was like, I am loving life right now. Like this is it.
I have like the same number of pages about this point forward as I did the whole.
Same here. I was treating it like Hermosa Beach. It was like So they set up what they want. They want this table to be representative of the spirit of Something About Her. So this table actually represents everything that Something About Her is going to be. It's going to have those type of flowers. It's going to have those sandwiches. They're going to be drinking that whatever.
It was like Aperol.
Yeah, Aperol that they're going to have. And so they really wanted, I guess, that to express everything that Something About Her is going to be.
It's just, it's so underplanned and like unnecessary. Like it's truly, clearly a show scene. Like they are immediately like ditch the idea of it and just are like, we'll serve this sandwiches at Sir, which like doesn't even make sense.
Yes.
Like what? It almost felt like they weren't allowed to be in there or something. They were like, it's like not permitted.
Quick! Film the scene, James, Allie, get in there, guys. We're staggering you in there so there's not too many people in it. Yeah, and then they just have the board with that logo on it. I mean, it is the most sparse. There was no reason for it, and it actually would have been more beneficial for them not to have it if it wasn't for the show. That was obviously not the best representation of Something About Her. It should have just been at Sir.
Yeah.
And just say, here are the sandwiches, the space isn't ready, we can peek in. I don't know. I mean, it was,
it made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it was wild.
And did you see, there was a TikTok someone walked by the other day and they had started painting the outside, and that same Something About Her 2022 sign was still sitting in there.
I think they heard our episode about how there had been no progress in Something About Her for a year. They're like, quick, get that sign in there from the... They put on their little Huck Finn outfits and started painting the outside. Yes, exactly. They painted it and they just threw that sign. Someone from production was like, do we still have that Something About Her sign that we made really quick for that looky-loo that they had? And they just like threw that in there. But that was interesting. Do you think that means that Something About Her is hitting the ground running?
I mean, it means something, but like we learned at Schwartz and Sandy's has looked done forever.
Yeah, the opposite problem.
Yeah, like, and it's just not running. So I don't know. Do they have sandwich artists lined up, ready to go? Who knows? And then so Ariana accidentally spills something, which was okay. Nothing broke. But right when she spilled something, Lisa comes in, and Lisa goes, "There's something about her." I was like, "Whoa, what an entrance!" Yeah, and she was like, "I always say, if you want something to be said, ask a man. But if you want something to get done, ask a woman."
Yeah, that was fun.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's Lisa's opinion on that. Lisa, I'll just say, because we're going to be talking about it, I felt Lisa was a little off these two scenes. Yes. I don't know if she was.
Seems sad.
I don't know if she was. Maybe she had. I don't want to speculate. Just it wasn't the Lisa that I love and have come to know. She was a little off her game. I don't know why. Maybe she was sad. I just noticed something was off about Lisa. She wasn't handling the conversations like she typically would. She was a little off her game. It definitely was epitomized by that speech.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Lisa comes in. She's obviously full supportive. Allie and James come early because they have to race off to the airport. So it's just James, Allie, and Lisa in the restaurant at the same time.
Yes.
And then Lisa and Allie really have a very awkward introduction.
Yeah, Allie like doesn't give in to, she sort of stands up to Lisa, like, because Lisa's trying to be like, you got to keep an eye on him. And she's like, no, like, I'm actually just there to support him. And, she's not giving into the dynamic between Lisa and James, where Lisa goes on to use multiple horse-related puns to talk about.
She was like, put the bit in his mouth.
Put a strong bit in his mouth. She said, I've always had, what did she say? She ends up calling him a young stallion.
Yeah, now I wasn't familiar with her calling him a young stallion. Has that ever happened before?
She has like weird
animal
things, yeah, like the way she calls Jiggy a sex monster,
Yeah, like,
you know.
Yeah, she does have a lot of sexual language about
So.
animals.
Did you notice that Lisa eats a sandwich and she describes it as unique and sexy?
No, she said that?
And I'm like, that's the highest compliment.
Did she say it both? Did she say unique and sexy? Or
Yes.
did she? Oh,
About
wow.
one of the sandwiches, which I'm like, you know that Lisa loves a sexy, unique restaurant, so that's a huge compliment.
Yes. Yeah, Lisa was definitely being very supportive. She was like, let me try everything. It looks beautiful. I thought the conversation, just like you said, Allie didn't give Lisa the humor repartee that she's accustomed to. Just kind of shut her down. Allie and James have this awkward moment where they start talking and say a sentence in full lockstep with each other and don't stop. They're like fully interrupting each other for a minute.
I love LVP was like, he said he's doing the Cascade show or whatever, and she's like, how many people will you be performing for? And he's like, actually, it doesn't matter how many people, it's more about the connections that I'm gonna make and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, isn't it gonna be a big crowd? Like, isn't that the whole point?
I think he said, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, okay, wait, why is he defensive now about crowd size? And why did he seem so wounded when Lisa asked that?
Yeah.
I think he's playing at a pool party event before, so he's one of the DJs at the pool. So if he said, it's going to be at the pool, there's going to be 100, he doesn't want to negate what he's doing. But it was crazy that Lisa asked like a full alley-oop. Yeah, she asked an alley-oop question, like how exciting, you're going to be playing in front of 30,000, and he must have recalibrated knowing that he's going to be in front of 50 people at the pool.
Right.
But they shaded James again on that.
The flyer.
Even worse. They basically have the when they go down the flyer to show his name.
Yeah, they do it like 3 times.
James would be so mad at them for doing that.
Yeah. Okay, Terry arrives.
Loved it.
Queen Terry. Also, Christina Kelly.
Yeah. I don't know. Christina Kelly had an iconic moment.
She made a valid point.
A valid, profound, perfect summation of what was going on in the scene. Very clearly needed. I loved it, but we won't spoil that yet.
Yeah.
But Christina Kelly asks for some reason, is Raquel coming? No! Why would she?
Yeah.
Why would she come to this intimate 7-person gathering for when one half of them hates her more than life itself?
Sheena FaceTimes Ariana. I don't know, makes a borderline COVID denier statement. She's like,
I'm not sick at all.
She's like, I know that you're not feeling well. And she's like, well, I feel fine, but the test says I'm positive.
I don't know what is going on with these tests. It came pre-batched with a positive result.
She's like, Fauci is a scumbag.
clearly so bummed that she will not be at the finale party. Can't imagine it work. I mean, there's nothing worse if you're a cast member. Like, she thought this was going to be the finale, but we know she gets an iconic moment in the actual finale.
In the trailer for the real finale.
Then the 2 stinkers arrive, Tom and Tom.
Did you notice Sandoval came with a bouquet of flowers and he's literally like spinning it up in the air, and I'm like, what is your deal? Like, he can't not have like flair with like every movement he makes.
No scene cannot have him doing something performative in it for even 1 second. If the cameras are on him, he is spinning something. He is flipping his top hat up and down. He is active. Completely.
Doing, like a ninja kick or like the worm or like juggling or whatever. It's like exhausting.
Yeah, enough. That was wild. They show up and I'm just like, that's like, I would have been so stoked in previous seasons if Tom and Tom were arriving somewhere. I'd be like, the party's here, and now it's like a dark cloud is arriving.
Yeah, they're Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, for real.
And so once they arrive, I counted 7 people, and one of them is, I don't know if they gave her a lower third or if I just recognized her, but the Schwartz and Sandy's designer, like interior designer, was there for some reason.
I think, I was wondering that as well, because she has an iconic moment coming up, which I will not spoil. But I was wondering, why she was there. Maybe she's the one who dropped off the glassware, and they were just like, hey, you can come to this thing. There's going to be 6 people there.
Yeah, I guess. And so then, they do their little spiel, and then they go to serve. Yeah,
they say, Terry takes a photo, with them with the sign.
It's like it's not a horrible photo. It's just like the least exciting. Like, it's not worthy of the feed.
No. Yeah, I mean there wasn't anything like this in finale history of like a flop event like this that just looked so bad clearly on his face and so rushed. You know what I mean? Like,
but they didn't even play it like it was supposed to be a flop. Like we were supposed to be like, cool,
celebratory. Like,
and I'm like, you guys know what this looks like, right? Like production, you did not pull this off if you think you did something.
No, and that is expressed directly by the fact that they have to just pivot to Sir to have you know an actual party.
In direct comparison, Sir has never looked better.
Sir.
Like when they're like walking in, I was like, sexy unique restaurant. I was like, this place is like a hot spot.
It looks amazing. The where they all were, I don't even know if I've been in that area of Sir. It looked so beautiful.
No,
I mean, obviously,
it looked great. I was like, the energy is popping. And then Schwartz comes into Sir and Lisa's on the phone and he's trying to get her attention and she's just like will not get off the phone for him.
Yeah, she won't even give him like the moment to say like, yes, I need something or whatever. She's just having a phone call.
Yeah. And then they're bringing out trays of sandwiches at Sir, which is so weird. Like,
yes, I mean, they really shouldn't have done the first part. They should have said, we can go take a quick tour and just like look inside it, but nothing should have been there. They should not have highlighted the space yet. I think it should have just all been at Sir, because it didn't make sense that it was just like dual party where they were serving the sandwiches there.
Right. It was so weird.
But then Ariana makes a very like sweet announcement to Sandoval, which is like, I'm gonna get wasted tonight and I'm gonna do your version of quality time and be sweet with you. I'm gonna get drunk as hell and be wild with you, that was so sweet. It was like a direct response to their conversation. Yeah,
she was like, I'm gonna while out, and he said something about, I wrote down dumpling.
He says dumpling, he goes, oh, it's so sweet, baby, you know, I love you. And then in the confessional, he's like, I'm just hoping we can get back because this is by far the best relationship I've ever been in. And I was like, Kristen and you, whoever you dated when you were in high school, and then your 9-year relationship with Ariana, like I would assume that was probably your best relationship.
Yeah. Did you notice that one of the party pigs at this party was Nick Elaine?
Yes, of course I knew Nick Elaine was there. I saw his little...
chowing down on a sandwich in the corner.
I would know Nick Elaine anywhere. And the first time I was watching this, I did not remember that it was Lisa's birthday.
Right.
It's only expressed when, in the previous scene, when Lisa goes up to James, maybe you'll have enough money to buy me some flowers for my birthday. And she's cueing them that they have to say happy birthday to her. That was also kind of sad.
Yeah. I love that. Lisa ends up, Raquel sits down next to Lisa and they're about to eat some sandwiches and Lisa's like, do you want me to eat this first so we can confirm that they're not trying to poison you?
Yeah, that was great. And then I wrote, I think it segues into a Tom and Terry moment. Was that the next?
Tommy and Terry.
Tommy and Terry. This cut me deep like a knife. All Terry scenes are powerful because she just seems to have a very good sense of what's going on, almost even better than the audience surrogate. It's just like, this is sad and bad. What you did. First, Tom charms her up by talking about how much fun they had in the past. Like, didn't you have the best day of your life that one time when before I had done a horrible thing? And she goes, yeah, that was great. I always thought you'd be, or I always considered you part of the family, even after they got divorced. But you really blew it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he doesn't like quite, at least the way they cut it, he doesn't really react to that. And I'm like, that should have been like a devastating blow. Like, because I felt so bad for him. Like, he, you know, I feel like he really like relied on her family to be his surrogate family. And so I'm like, I actually did feel really bad for him that he's basically, you know, firstly because of the divorce and secondly because he fucked up their relationship. But like, he kind of just like lost his surrogate family. Like, it makes me think of, I know you're not a huge Kardashians head, but Scott Disick, his whole family basically is dead. And so he is very dependent on the Kardashian clan. And now that Courtney has moved on with Travis Barker, he's like alone on an island. And it's like, he needed that family. And I feel like Tom needs Terry.
Yes, I mean, it's so clear that he loves Terry and that he wants to be in her life and still be a part of the family. He still loves Katie. He just can't understand for some reason how he blew it. He immediately goes, you have to understand. He immediately undercuts it. Just like you said, it doesn't cut him the way it should that he blew it. He goes, you have to understand. Katie, he gets into like full like lawyer brain for some reason. He's like, you have to understand that Katie made a verbal agreement, a tentative verbal agreement at the start of our relationship, and I was a mess after that, and she divorced me, and 6 months later, I was drunk in Mexico, and I made out with someone. He's like, you can't expect me to follow this verbal agreement. He's, what agreement would he have honored? A lawyerly agreement?
Right.
He's completely negating that he knew this was bad, and that this was something that he should have been aware of.
I'm also like, it's insane how comfortable he is talking to his ex-wife's mom about making out with someone. You know, he plays it off like it's not a big deal, of just, well, I just wanted to make out with someone in Mexico. I'm like, you should be embarrassed to be talking like that. You're 40 years old. Like,
totally. And then Terry does not listen to that verbal garbage, this excuse for 1 second. She says, I don't understand, which is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you could do something so hurtful. Do you not understand what a slap in the face that is? Katie will talk to me about you, and she'll just cry about how much your friendship after the divorce mattered.
Yeah.
Was it really worth it?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Was it worth it? That is the question to both Sandoval and Schwartz this entire season. Mm-hmm. Was it worth it? Was it worth it to cheat on Ariana after a 9-year relationship and make her regret every moment of her life with you? And was it worth it for Schwartz to sabotage his 12-year relationship with Katie for a shitty kiss by a pool with Raquel?
Yeah, it's like wasteful. It's just ridiculous.
And Schwartz very rarely cries.
Yeah.
Except that moment in the 6th season when he's drunk at the Rambler and he's bawling, crying because he thinks Jax is going to expose all of his sins when he's cheating. Do you remember that moment when he's going, I'm just drunk, and he's crying like pouring tears?
Yeah.
That was a shocking scene that's underrated in the Vanderpump Rules universe. But Schwartz cries and you feel it. Terry finally got to him, but she's not done getting to the bottom of everything yet. That was just one powerful Terry scene.
Yeah, she is not quite finished.
No, not at all. I'm so glad Terry was there.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Yeah. Well, I have thoughts.
Yes,
yeah.
Me too.
So then we cruise over to the Garden Bar, which really felt like a throwback. They did a little clip flashback of Ariana was saying, when I bartended at Sir, they always had me at the Garden Bar, which, remember when they like opened that and it would always be like, Jax, go work the Garden Bar. It was always like, what is the Garden Bar? I always felt like a service bar. Like it was just like where the servers, except for Pride, I can't think of a time when a customer goes up to the Garden Bar.
At one point, I think they're like, when it's Pride, they're like, Jax is bartending in the Garden Bar, go back there. And he's like, no, don't tell him about the Garden Bar.
Yeah.
I have no idea the Sir layout. Every time I see it, I'm like, where the hell is that part of Sir?
Yeah, it's like the very back. It's so funny. But so this is one of the more upsetting portions of the episode. Ariana and Raquel, Raquel clumsily brings up that they had once had a conversation about not having sex with her to James and Ariana about Sandoval. And she's like, you had mentioned having a dry spell, and it's very clunky how she brings this up. It's kind of out of nowhere.
First Ariana is sort of explaining why, which I don't know at all why she has to explain this to Raquel, but she's explaining why Katie does not have a good opinion of Raquel for the 1,000th time that this has happened. She's like, Katie just feels this way because of this, and Raquel's like, oh, okay, that's why she feels that way. Okay, anyway, you remember when you were talking about the dry spell that you and Sandoval had, how you guys don't have sex? It's like, extremely clunky.
Yeah. And then Raquel, it seems like she's basically trying to get to the point in the conversation where she's hoping that Ariana's gonna say, like, it's not gonna work out. Like, she's hoping. It feels like she just wants to be like, are you guys gonna break up soon? Like, are you almost done? Like, you could just tell that, like, on the other side of the conversation, she's like, fishing for information to be like, is it okay that I'm fucking him right now? Like, are you guys like, are you not attracted to him anymore? Like, you're almost gonna break up, right? So, you know, like looking for almost like permission or something.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I understood like the significance of this other than the fact that I guess I thought Raquel is trying to pry to see if the end of the relationship is coming. So that's what you thought. It's like, are the things that Sandoval is telling me true? You guys are sort of at the end of your ropes. And Ariana really shuts it down completely. We're not, I'm going to work on this. I am sexually attracted to him. Yeah,
because she's like, you know, I think in a relationship you should want to have sex with them. Like, are you still attracted to him? And she's like, oh my God, like, I still think he's so fucking hot. Which I'm like, first of all, that's like sad that like she still feels that way, and it's just, you know, not working. And then she doubles down. It's even so much sadder. And Ariana's like, and I'm not hot. Like, you don't look at me and go, that's what I like. I like cellulite, fat thighs, a big ass, and bingo arms. And I was like, don't say that. That's so sad. Yeah, Raquel starts crying.
Raquel is the thing you described as the 0 to 10 cry, where it doesn't even elevate. It's just like she just, you know, breaks down completely in tears about body issues.
She's like, stop. And then she's like, I think, she's like, we're so hard on ourselves. I think we're a lot prettier than we think. Like, she's so bad at articulating anything, where I'm just like, she's so not someone you want consolation from, because she's so bad at
also she's not anyone you'd ever take advice from. Like when she said, I feel like in a relationship you should want to have sex. Ariana, like, oh, thanks so much, Raquel. Thank you.
Never thought of that.
Thank you. Like, that was really profound. Like, Raquel has never said anything profound in her life. Like, who would be, and Katie says that later. She's like, I would never, ever take advice from Raquel.
Yeah, and then they cut to Raquel's confessional, and she's like, her body image is probably affecting her relationship with Tom. Like, if you're self-conscious, you're not having good sex. And I'm like, again, like, are we Dr. Ruth now? Like, thank you for your input. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly like Katie says later. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? So Raquel, when she says something like, I feel like in a relationship you should want to have sex, she's trying to, in a very dumb way, tell Ariana that she must be having deeper, you know, negative feelings about their relationship. Yeah. And she should break up with Sandoval or start the breakup process because she's not happy.
That's what she says. Because with James, when that was happening with me, I knew that I should have broken up with him 2 years before. Like, it didn't really work because she didn't pull it off, but she was trying to be like, heed my warning. If you feel this way now, you might as well break up now so you don't regret it later.
Like the alley scenes where she's giving those not so subtle hints about how awful James is. She's doing that. She's trying to be even more sensitive, but she just like cannot pull it off. Ariana shuts her down like completely.
She's like, I think we'll talk it through and we'll be okay. It's like, I think Raquel literally goes like, ugh. Like she's like frustrated. She's like, all right, let's do these shots.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
That was insane. Trying to watch like a true moron do like mental manipulation on someone that's like of like above average or normal intelligence. Just trying to do a Jedi mind trick with like no IQ score.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not we can just officially start calling Raquel a moron. We can, right?
DNS.
What's that?
Dumb and stupid.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, the DNS words. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess if James opened the door for that, we can start saying it.
So then we cut to Ken. They're talking about the sandwiches, and he says, the vegetarian one is amazing.
Yeah, I was glad to know which sandwich Ken found the most favorable.
Yeah, so I want to try that one. That might be the Green Goddess.
I did like Raquel and Peter's very sad awkward shot where they just had a shot at the bar and they just go, to a great summer. I was like, which one of you had a great summer? I guess Peter.
So dark. And then Lala is starting to have a conversation with Lisa. Lisa and Ken joke a little bit. He's saying, they're talking about their house, I guess, and he's like, when she kicks me out, it'll all be hers.
Yeah.
And I was like, love that. Love
Classic
that he's in the
humor.
mix.
Yeah.
And then Lala proceeds to have kind of like a batshit. I don't know how you felt about this conversation, but I thought it was insane.
Okay, yeah, you go into it. I wrote, like, it definitely seemed like an outlier. I was not sure why they included this Lala, like, story. It just seemed
Right.
sort of out of place. We hadn't really been leading up to this, but yeah, you delve in, because I didn't have a lot to say about this.
Right, well, it was just Lala kind of talking about how she would love to have another baby ASAP, but she basically doesn't trust all men.
True.
And she doesn't want her baby to be potentially taken away by any baby daddy, so she would just prefer to use a sperm donor.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa's like, wouldn't you just rather find a partner that you trust and then have a new baby? And she's like, well, I don't want to put my life on hold. And I'm like, didn't she just turn like 30? Isn't she pretty young?
Yeah, for some reason Lala seems to think of herself as a 40-year-old, I guess. Lala is so much younger than you would imagine, right?
I'm like, you could do it in 5 years.
Yeah.
I would understand if she was 40 and you're like, this is my last chance to give her a sibling.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if she wants a sibling for Ocean right now, like in the next year, and she's not willing to wait, or she's not willing to trust a man after a year, which, does make sense given her past. Maybe she just is like, I want a sibling apart from the, trusting of a man, so I don't know. Like, that was my read on it. But I just thought I just didn't know if, like, I was ready to, like, have that scene right now with Lisa at her birthday.
It was kind of just dropped in. I feel like Lisa was like, can I fucking relax? Like, god damn, like, she should invoice all of them. They all just, like, trauma dump on her all day long.
Yeah, for real.
She's so tired. She's like, all right, whatever, do what you want. Use a sperm donor.
I wrote next, just I don't know if you're going to get to this right now, but I wrote that Schwartz stinks to high heaven at this event.
I wrote down, quote, yeah, you don't smell great.
Yeah, Schwartz apparently stinks. He has, that classic new shirt stench that he talks about, where you wear a new shirt that you haven't washed, and apparently if you sweat in it, you stink. and then he asks the person who came with him to the party, who normally your friend doesn't tell you full blown, probably if you stink. Like, that's the person that would, like, give you, like, a nice answer. She just says, yeah, you do not smell great. So then he grabs he grabs a bunch of lemons, sacred Sir lemons, and starts immediately shoving them into his armpits, and then puts them on a little dish in front of him and says, I hope nobody uses those.
Show me these lemons. And I love that it seemed like Sandoval, when Sandoval comes over and he explains that to him, and he's like, basically, do you have anything else for me to wear? And Sandoval's like, I didn't bring anything else, dude. And that's so genuine, because normally he might have. He usually has alternate looks available.
Typically, and also, he used to carry around like a bag. Like, I thought a bag of with deodorant or something.
Yeah.
But Tom was just like, no, that's not me anymore, man. I have nothing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then we are like, I mean, we're in it right now. After Schwartz, after we find out how bad Schwartz stinks.
Yeah.
Raquel, right?
Yeah, she cruises over to Katie's table, and they're having a flamboyant conversation. The guy on the end turns to her and goes, we're talking about eating ass over here. Nice to meet you. Yeah,
and Raquel goes, oh, great, right?
Yeah, she's not welcome, but go on.
Yeah.
And my next big note is all caps, Raquel versus Katie. I put Raquel pest mode.
Totally. I was thinking, okay, Katie now has to look over from her conversation and see that Raquel has seated herself across from her again. Again, she has to talk not only about Raquel, which she is probably hating to do every second that it happens, but now talk to Raquel again.
Yeah. No, it's so annoying, and she just keeps trying to. It's like Schwartz was married to this woman for years, and he doesn't care to defend himself against her. Why does Raquel think she's the one to, bring up any gripes that Schwartz has? It's insane.
There are two, possible theories. It's one, that she thinks this is how you have scenes on Vanderpump Rules as a solo cast member. It's all about confrontation. Or number two, she is just so oblivious in social scenarios that she thinks this is how conversation should work, and this is how this is how she should go up to someone and confront them. She does a full bait and switch on Katie where she says, "Congrats, your sandwiches are so good." And I fully thought the apology.
I tried one. It was dope.
Yeah, it was. She says it was bomb.
Yeah, bomb.
And then she goes ... and then she goes, "I heard," like fully now aggressive towards Katie again.
Yeah.
She goes, "I heard that you rage texted Schwartz about that gossip blog thing."
Yeah. Katie's like, actually, they did show the texts. They weren't rage texts.
No.
They were just normal.
No.
And Katie's like, I can't, she's like, I was with him for 12 years. I don't understand what Raquel doesn't understand about Katie having dominance regarding any Schwartz topic. Like, when you were with someone for 12 years, that is a huge percentage of your life. You have like a pact or a certain level of respect, or even if you're broken, because she keeps being like, you're separated. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, he owes her first rights.
Yes. And we've all accepted this. I mean, most people are on the side of Katie. Say what you will about how she's acted in the past, but most people think that it was a small thing to not do that Schwartz could have done for Katie, to not make out with someone in their tentative friend group, even if it's B-level friend. I mean, really, a cast member on the show.
Right.
Can you not make out with a cast member that's on my show and embarrass me and do exactly what you did for a full season?
Yeah. Katie's like, how thick is your skull?
Yes, and this is at a certain point when Raquel is trying to say that she's defending Schwartz, and the reason she's bringing this up is because she's so empathetic to Schwartz. Her mind is being blown that this is happening right now, and that Raquel is barely able to get out how she's feeling. She goes, "What? Why are you talking to me about this? What the fuck are you doing?" And I was just like, that's exactly how I felt. Katie's getting so fed up that she even has to talk to Raquel about anything regarding Schwartz and her.
Yeah. She's like, you have zero respect or empathy. Raquel's like, well, maybe I just have more empathy for Schwartz. And then she's like, how were you raised? And then they pan over immediately to Terry and Lala, who are right there. You don't even realize they're only like one seat over.
They are listening to the entire thing. They can hear it as loud as the audience can hear it. Lala's reaction to this conversation was, I think, one of the funniest things about this entire episode for me.
Yeah.
Lala and Terry are hearing every word. Katie is bringing it. Every rebuttal is perfect to Raquel. She goes, you have no empathy. You have no respect. At a certain point, she goes, are you hearing this shit?
Yeah.
To Terry and Lala. And Lala goes, I'm in awe.
Yeah.
I mean.
And then she goes, well, what did you think was going to happen? You'd have a more productive conversation with a pig.
I loved it so much. She's already related Schwartz to a farm animal. I love that she's continuing this farm animal trend. She goes, you'd have a more productive combo with a pig. And then she goes, be done with it. And her be done with it, the way she executes that line was perfect. It's like she's almost mad at Katie that Katie is even sitting there to have a conversation.
He's even giving her the energy.
Yeah.
Which is what I was saying earlier, but Raquel makes it impossible to escape.
No, she is just saying words that you just do not understand, and then the minute she says something, you have to account for what she just said, and you can't even rebut the last thing she said. It's like a convoluted web, what Raquel is saying.
Yeah, and then Terry chimes in. She's like, did our conversation mean nothing? And Raquel has the gall to go, oh God.
So shocking to me. I mean,
what's wrong with her?
She is treating Terry like she is a background person on a movie set that should not have a line. Before Terry goes, can I say something to you? And they don't even have Raquel's mouth say it. Raquel goes, what, Terry? Rudely.
Can you even imagine in your wildest dreams talking to someone's mom like that?
No, I can't.
Then Lala says the same thing. How were you raised? They're all like,
Well, you see, no, you see Katie's reaction, because they have Katie's reaction to when Raquel says,
Yeah.
"Oh God,"
It takes
rolls.
her a minute to even realize.
Yes, it's like a full second, and then Katie's like, "How dare you speak to my mom like that?" Like it was. I mean, people have said this already. The fact that Katie had the poise to not push Raquel out of her chair right there after how she treated Katie's mom like she was a peasant.
Yeah.
That she even had the audacity to speak to her. Like, she treated her like that. And Sandoval treated her like that. Not to skip ahead.
Yeah.
The way they acted towards Terry was shocking in a scene filled with shocking moments.
Yeah. And Terry's like, first of all, the second that shit goes down with Terry, Ariana enters and it's just like mouth agape. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, Katie, instead of slapping Raquel, you know, which I almost thought there could have been, a violent act. Yeah. She drops the C word on her.
Yes. Terry is like trying to still she's kind of like, Katie, like, Terry's like, don't do all that. Like, let me try and talk to her. She's like, you hurt me, Raquel. And Raquel's like, I was being honest. And Terry's like, yeah, it was crazy. You were saying, I just wanted to make out with Tommy. And then Sandoval, in all of his glory, is trying to chime in, which I'm like, truly, what the fuck is I mean, we know now he's trying to defend his girlfriend that we didn't know was his girlfriend, but like, why do you want to be involved in this? Like,
shut up.
Let her hang herself. Who cares?
Why the hell? And this, now you can ask that for any question, for any scene he's ever voiced his opinion in a fight that was not his. Why the hell is he talking right now? Why the hell is he standing up against Terry? Ariana screams and says, let Terry finish.
Yeah.
Which then, another moment where it's like, Ariana, is this a moment that you're going to count against Ariana because you didn't have your side when you're railing against someone's mother?
He just hates Katie so much that like he can't.
He says it's tacky in the confessional that Terry's mom was involved because who can go up against a mom? Well, apparently you and Raquel.
Seriously.
And he's calling Katie's fighting abilities tacky because you can't fight with a mom or whatever.
Yeah.
In what world does Katie ever need help from anyone to have a fight with someone?
It's true.
Has anyone had more one-off fights
than
Katie? Like, she does not need any backup ever.
It's true. And Terry's still trying to make her point. She's like, Katie still loves Tommy. Tommy still loves Katie.
So, like, sweet. You hurt me, she says to Raquel.
Yeah.
You hurt me.
But yeah, I feel like Sandoval, it was like, I would be willing to entertain the idea of having their mom fight their battles or having their mom there to make them untouchable, but I wasn't feeling that was what was going on.
Terry, it's just because of how we've seen Terry throughout this episode. She was here for a certain thing. She was there for the launch. She has a very viable opinion on this whole thing. We also saw her specifically tell Raquel, please, for the love of God,
it was relevant.
Yes. Yeah. And the way they treated Terry, I mean, despicable.
Totally. And then
demented. What is Ariana say? Subhuman.
Subhuman. It was just like the most shining example of Raquel having a screw loose where you're like, I don't even know if you're being diabolical. It seems like you truly don't know what you're doing. And it's insane.
Then she reaches out to say, I hurt you to Katie. Katie says, don't touch me.
Why would you try and touch someone physically during that moment? That was insane.
You're exactly right.
And then the second she rebuffs her, she pulls out the you're jealous card.
Sorry, you're jealous, which is her like final insult, the final thing she says when she has no other things she can say.
Right.
Apparently people are jealous of Raquel now.
Yeah.
In her mind.
And then we cut to Ariana's sobbing. She's again trauma dumping on LVP. She's saying, I love Katie and I love Raquel and I just want to go home and I'm stuck in the middle. And it's like, it's interesting that she, even though I don't know how much she saw of what Raquel was doing to Terry and in the situation, but it's funny that she like cannot take sides here when almost anyone would be on Katie's side.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I feel like Raquel, if this had continued on, there was a couple more episodes, I feel like Raquel has reached her limit of empathy from Ariana at this point. I mean, really, how can you be on the side of someone who is awful to someone's mother?
Like, why wouldn't Ariana, I mean, I know she doesn't have any energy to deal with any of this, but like, she could have just been like, Raquel, come over here, like, stop it, like,
No,
get out.
Exactly. I mean, I fully agree with you, but I also know Ariana's breakdown has been coming. She's finally got enough nerve to stand up, have the launch that she didn't even want to do. Production made her do it. I'm not disparaging production, but they had to have a finale scene. Ariana didn't want to do that. Then she's fully in the middle. Her Sandoval is saying that they have a loveless marriage.
Yeah.
Raquel, she's defending, but Raquel is doing undefendable things. She's in business with Katie. She cannot do anything. And then the scenes are being peppered while Ariana is having a breakdown. This is the most iconic scenes of Vanderpump Rules. Have so many moments that you can't even latch on. Sandoval is doing his classic, here's the issue. Let me explain it.
He
and
like
Tom
pulls his chair up.
Let me just tell you the truth of exactly what's going on, because I know everything in the world. Like a full wise Sandoval moment. They cut him off. He doesn't even, he says, the only person's perspective in this that matters
is Katie's. And Terry's like, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, and the whole time they're wondering where the hell Schwartz is. Schwartz is Blair witching in the corner.
He's like,
whistling. He's behind the bushes. He's staring in a corner. He does not at all want to be a part of this. He can't deal with this right now. He said, I'm still recovering from my emotional moment with Terry, which I do believe that was a sad moment. So maybe he was recovering, but he just didn't want any more. Yeah.
Is this when Sandoval's popping off about Katie? Is this when Christina Kelly has her moment?
Yes. Yep. So first, Sandoval, as he's railing against Katie, which he has done a million times, never will take the side of Katie, no matter what, for all of her life. She goes, I am done hearing from you. Please stop. Yeah. And she gets up, and then Christina Kelly goes, Sandoval, stop. She says, stop focusing on this. Focus on Ariana. Look at that's your relationship.
That's your relationship. She's over there really upset, and they show her she's like in like Lisa's like shoulder, like crying.
Totally.
He is like stunned. Like he's like,
Yeah, and I didn't like Lisa was like doing okay. She was a little like not ready to have that constellation moment. I didn't feel like she was giving Ariana her all. I might have to watch it again, but I just kind of felt like she was like, what's going on here? Yeah. You know, like, can't she tell like how upset Ariana is? Like,
no, she didn't have too much to give. She was like, I've been through that same thing myself.
And then I was thinking of this whole thing like as sort of like on a rage meter from Katie. Like it starts out, she's only at like 0%. Like she's kind of blissful and just having fun. And the first Raquel encounters, it's like maybe 20%. It got her mad, but she wasn't like blood boiling. Like maybe 30%. The mom comment gets her up to 70. Yeah. Then the fact that Sandoval wanted to pepper in his classic, me against you, Katie against the world. She's at like 90. Yeah. Then
on the way down the alley, like on the way to Sir Alley.
This was I just want to set it up. This was beautifully filmed. This was an iconic scene. Everything about this walk was so powerful.
Yeah. Lala's like, Raquel is snickering, and she's just like in her ear trying to make her even more pissed off. Katie kind of misunderstands what she's saying. She thinks that Tom is participating in laughing at her, so she comes out, she grabs him, pulls him down the hall, and she goes, oh, dark days for you, buddy.
Before that, but I loved that. Dark days for you, buddy. But before that, she pulls him calmly, and it's like almost, this is when her rage meter is full. This is when Lala says she is seeing red. She can no longer process thought anymore. Katie comes back down the hallway, she grabs Schwartz calmly, which I think is so that she doesn't physically assault Raquel. Yeah. And then she goes, were you laughing with her? Were you laughing with her about me? Yeah. Were you laughing with her? Then she pulls him away, and then Lala goes, no, he wasn't laughing. Sorry, I said that wrong. Raquel was laughing. He was just standing there. Then they go outside, and she goes, Tom, she goes, dark days for you, buddy. And he's just led down that corridor to the alley.
they're only talking for like 10 seconds before Raquel finds her way out there.
Yeah.
She's trying to she's just being so annoying, saying the same shit. She is out of her league. She can't express what she's trying to say. She's like, you were upset that he made out with someone, and the fact that it was me made it even worse. And she's like, I can't even entertain this right now. You're so annoying. You're so off base.
I said, she interrupted like a complete moron.
Yeah.
She says exactly what you just said. She's like, wait, I'm finally getting it. It would hurt you if Tom kissed anyone, but then it was me, so it hurts you more. And Katie's like, floored. She's like, get away.
Yeah.
Go away from me.
And then Tom keeps being like, no, she's apologizing. Let her talk. Don't push her. And Raquel starts trying to joke around with Schwartz while Katie is there. Like, they're sort of like having a laugh.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
And it's like so insane. And then Katie gets so pissed off and she's like, this fucking little hoe.
I loved how she said hoe. It was, I mean, I can't say it enough. Katie was just on one completely. Pure rage, seeing red, but finally that rage that we've seen where sometimes we didn't like where Katie's rage was directed, this rage was perfectly calibrated at the perfect target. I mean, it was so amazing to see Katie just go off finally on Raquel in every way.
Katie's like, I'll leave, and then Raquel's like, fine, I'll leave, and it's like awkward, and then so she finally leaves, and then, I don't even know if not much more happens there, but then you just start to hear, happy birthday to you.
Guillermo's got the cake with the one of the best transitions. Almost, I was like, almost scripted, like in the best way, like an HBO drama would have a scene with that powerful of a transition. That was amazing.
So funny.
We forget, this is Lisa's birthday at
She's
SUR.
so exhausted and upset. She's like, that better not be for me.
Yeah.
And then Ariana has to get out from under her and wipe her
Did you
tears.
see Ariana's holding her head? She's going, oh God, I can't believe this is actually happening where a birthday song is being sung right now.
And then she's like, all right then, Jesus Christ. And then Lisa blows out her candles and she did a classic Lisa line. She said, still great at a blowjob. Even though she's been so low energy this episode, she still made a little LVP sexy joke, which I appreciated.
Yeah, that was good. Unfortunately, the rest of the speech could not live up to that classic Lisa joke.
No.
I gave this speech a 4 out of 10 in terms of the Lisa speeches.
It was
meandering. It didn't really have a point. There was a lot of non sequiturs.
Yeah, I didn't know what she was referring to. She was just like, when life gives you... she didn't say when life gives you lemons. But
she said when life gives you those Schwartz lemons, and she pointed to those ones that you just put in his armpit.
That's the kind of lemonade you're gonna get from this group is armpit sweat lemons.
Yeah,
lemonade.
I couldn't even write it down because it was just one line. It was like, I love you, and you will learn to deal with your problems.
And she's just crying. She's so upset. And then I loved just because it was funny to me that she was like, where's Schwartz? I can't get started without Schwartz. And Katie's like, why do you need him? Nobody needs him. And she's like, because he's part of this equation.
Yeah, that was good. She handled that.
And I love that Katie was like, I'm here. Yeah. I'll do it. And she's like, no.
Yeah. That was I don't know. I mean, I still was on a Katie high, but she didn't have to say that. But
but she's like, LVP loves Schwartzy, and there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then Lisa is going through the speech. You can see that there's mixed reactions, this was in the mid-season trailer. Raquel is smiling from ear to ear. Katie's unhappy. Peter's not listening. It's gone on probably way longer than they even edited it. And she goes, don't let life get the better of you. I love you all. And my friend Eileen texted Megan and said, is Lisa giving a speech that she's dying?
Yeah, I said, seems worn down. They showed Nicolene and Ken there. They're probably concerned. And then they bring, that she is done. And then she's like, none of the people here eat cake.
Yes.
So just give it to a customer.
Yeah, so she got a good laugh out loud moment. The speech was buttressed by 2 good Lisa moments. The blowjob comment, and then no one here eats cake. And then they have a classic everyone laughs at Lisa, ending, right?
Yeah.
And then it just shows Ariana and Tom, and they're laughing, right? They're just, I guess, fake laughing or actually laughing, and then it just fades out, and then we get that. And next week on the season finale of Vanderpump Rules.
And it's like the immediate first clip was, I was gonna break up with Ariana anyways, and Sheena being like, but you didn't. You fucked your best friend instead.
One of the best.
I've seen like 30 times
and
now.
Sheena delivers that.
Sheena looks so like fucked up. Like she's not wearing any makeup, which for her is like pretty rare.
I can't believe, like I can't, people say that so much. I cannot believe truly that in 6 days, I can't believe that in 6 days we'll be getting, that we are actually going to see the episode that has 55 minutes or however long this thing is going to be of pure post-Scandal footage with Kristen, with crying, the squirt era begins.
Yes.
For you to die, like that's really happening.
I know, I can't fucking wait.
Me neither. Did we, as I ask every week, did we do this episode justice?
Is this our longest episode yet or not quite?
You know what? I didn't want to say it, but we passed the 2 hour and 30 minute mark. We're 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
I think with our Summer House Minute and our Ice Talk Minute, it brought us to like a 45 minute, which we never usually start at 45 minutes.
That's true.
And we just had so much to talk about. This episode, to me, I was honestly fine with a slow start if it led us to that.
Yeah.
The fact that it was 25 minutes at a scene with all of them, minus James, which I was sad that James wasn't there.
Yeah.
But who knows, maybe James would have derailed it somehow. I mean, it was so good. Katie is the MVP and Terry, by far, for me. I have never seen Katie, in my opinion, so powerful, so filled with rage. The scene where she walks down the hallway to get Tom, the way they shot that, right in her face, but she's not looking at the camera, but it's like
it was giving a Goodfellas kitchen entrance tracking shot.
And there's yes, exactly. And there's a split 2 seconds where it's red light on her face, like she's seeing red. I was like, this is so cinematic. I love this more than anything. Yeah.
No, it was great. I feel like, I don't know, we'll see what happens next week. We might have to do a 2-parter or something.
Because we can't have a 4-hour episode.
It's insanity.
No, is there anything as we tomorrow's Friday, then it's the weekend, then we start hunkering down for Summer House, we get in the finale, is there anything we need to talk about before we get out of here?
I think we've said all we can possibly say.
Yes, and will the listeners, who I love more than life, and I know you love them, will they think we did a good job?
I think so. We keep hearing they like the long eps.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, well, even if we didn't do good and there were some moments that struck you as shit, we love you, and we'll be back again next week. For the finale of Vanderpump Rules, which it's all been leading to this.
That's right.
Okay.
So we'll see you then.
So no one loves you more than Amy and I, and good night, goodbye, and we love you.